welcome back to Read, Watch, Play. This is the show where we talk about comic books, superhero television and movies, and our favorite tabletop and board games, including Heroclix and other stuff. That echoes me. There we go.
Okay.
Sorry.
I was scared, but it was you.
We're
All
live.
right.
Yeah, no, it's my fault. I thought it was coming from your phone for a second.
No, I already took care of that. It's ambiance.
It's ambiance. Yes, we like to hear ourselves all the time.
Oh, my Lord.
Anyway, so we've got a lot to cover, especially in the comic book area.
We have been neglecting comic books, so this episode is about comic books.
I wouldn't say neglecting comic books.
They have been neglected. It has
Okay.
been neglected. All right. There's been the watch portion has been a little too all-consuming. So this week is going to be all about the comics and the play.
Yep. As always, I'm Tony Cox, and I'm here with my lovely co-host
Clifford Parmenter. Hi.
And so, Cliff, what have you been up to for the last week? Anything exciting?
My God. Everything's so exciting that I can't talk about, but we got press passes.
Yes, we have been approved for press badges at New York Comic Con, so we will be there. Hopefully, doing lots of interviews.
I hope to God.
I'm
just picturing me in the press badge, like you and I fighting through, elbowing people over, and I'd be like, I got him, I got one of the artists, quickly. We're holding a microphone, hoping it's connected.
Yep. Tackle them, get them on the floor.
No, I wouldn't do that. They're cool. It's everybody else.
So we're really excited about that. We might try to do some live stuff while we're down there, but we're going to be down there all 4 days, and we're going to have a blast. So that's exciting. Also, some exciting news for Heroclix players in Poughkeepsie. Dragon's Den is opened back up.
Yes.
And you're going to be running some events there on Saturdays. Is that correct?
Yes, and maybe one night during the week if I have some help. So I'm looking forward to that. My playing group is really looking forward to that. I've had like 3-4 people say that like they're ready to move on.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, hopefully now that you're back open.
No. They were like if it was going to take any longer.
Oh,
for
so
us
now
to
they're
have some
great,
local.
great.
Very happy.
So you're running an event this Saturday. What can you tell us what it is?
500 modern regular figures and nothing bigger than a peanut base, and that is it.
Nice.
No colossal retaliation, no ID cards, no possessions, no special equipments, nothing. Just figures.
So you can't run Stiltman with colossal retaliation?
He doesn't have it though.
He does. If you have 2 or 3 stilts on him, he gets colossal retaliation at 15 points. Yep, single base, colossal retaliation.
Well, then I'm glad
points.
I wrote no colossal retaliation.
Yeah.
Because it's just unnecessary. It's just I mean I wasn't here for the ROC, but I have such a hatred in the past few weeks that has built for Dormammu that like I want colossal retaliation removed from the game. Like that's how much hate.
Is that the new resource? Colossal retaliation?
It is. I mean, every team
we'll get to it, but there's something else that could take your hatred, and that's called the boxing ring.
No, that too. I know. It's just all the big. It's everything that wins right now. I'm seeing the level 3 or the level 7 ID card for Fury. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing that boxing ring. The one that I actually like, and maybe it's because I own him, but I find him like fun but not horrifying. Is Supreme Intelligence. You know, it's 12 points.
I like him too. He's fun.
You gotta hit people to like move the dial along. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to more Heroclix later. Also, one other piece of news before we jump into comics. We are going to be at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center Comic Expo September 10th.
Yes.
Very
September
excited.
10th.
Sunday, September 10th.
It's Sunday, September?
It's a Sunday.
Are we serious?
It is one day only on the Sunday.
Oh my God, what are we doing? Hold on. I'm actually pulling up the calendar. Because
He's got to double check me.
well, of course I do. I'm in horror.
Why are you in horror?
Because I can't believe it's a Sunday. Anyhow, so let me tell you something about this expo. The reason I'm pro this expo is because I live in Highland, New York, and part of the proceeds benefit my library. So
Very cool.
I'm very big in supporting the local library. They're supposed to have a few guests lined up. They haven't announced it yet, but it's only a month away, so I'm nervous.
We actually, spoiler alert, we may actually have some input into some of the guests, so we will let you know as soon as we know. And we're going to be doing a live show, hopefully, if they have room for us. We're going to be doing a live show from there, so keep a lookout for that.
That's so great. If they have room for us, they better.
Well, the other thing, too, is we got to make sure the internet connection is stable enough.
I hope so. It should be.
Yeah, I think it should be. And they want to put us on the balcony overlooking the entire show floor. It's very exciting. We're very excited. So we'll see that. Hopefully, we'll be able to maybe do some interviews with some of the celebrities, hopefully. But we'll let you know more about that the closer we get to that. So, so some exciting stuff happening this fall.
5 whole weeks away.
Yes,
it's
5 whole weeks.
It's like every week. It's like every week. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. You did ask me what else I'm doing. I am volunteering for Hudson Valley Community Services. And in November, and I will have more details about this, we are going to have a pajama party cereal breakfast in Fishkill, New York at the Rec Center. It's going to be great. It is $30 a person, but the proceeds are going to their nutritional education program, which the primary resource for that program is children who are not getting nutritional resources or education, their families who are not getting education, and members of the community who are afflicted with HIV who also don't have proper information on how to eat healthy. So all of the proceeds are going to those programs.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And this is throughout the Hudson Valley. And so it's really great. I already have a few silent auction items. You get a cereal bowl as your gift for coming.
Oh, that's cool.
And there will be door prizes too, because I know, $30 a person. Some people want to bring their kids. That's another $30. Like, it's all going to a very good cause. It's close to the holidays. And I'll have more details about that and some of the cool stuff that we're going to have for auction.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, that's great. All right. Well, let's jump into what did we read? So, you have read quite a lot.
A ton.
Since the last time.
A metric ton of comics.
Show the bag. Show the sack. The sack o' comics.
The sack of comics.
This is pretty hefty. There's a lot. There's a lot in here. There's a lot of comics in here. So I can't open this bag very well. But anyway.
Yeah, it's a lot of
there
comics.
We go. Anyway,
it's fine.
So let's get started. You want to start with
Action Comics 983.
So
we left off in our Zod epic with him joining the Revenge Squad. Now they've busted up into the Fortress of Solitude.
All right. I see me Cyborg Superman
and Eradicator up top.
Supergirl. Oh, that is Eradicator.
Yep.
New Superman from China, right?
Yep.
And Steel, John Henry Irons.
Yep.
And then is that Superwoman's arm coming out of the bottom?
It is Superwoman's arm coming out of the bottom, Lana Lang. And up top, it's Blank's hand from the top left.
Gotcha.
And of course, Cyborg Superman, the Eradicator, and I forgot who has the giant hand. It's Mongol. It's Mongol.
Mongol.
It's Mongol's hand coming down. So there's an epic battle.
I see.
It's an epic revenge battle in the fortress. And it's ridiculous. And Zod is housing people. And he's just knocking people out. And Supergirl just comes out firing heat vision. And he's like, enough! And just slams her into a wall. And he's like, I'm tired of this! I'm tired of all of you! You are sick! And he's like, you're insects! So he's like, I know Jor-El. Jor-El enjoyed floors. He's like, look at this fortress. And he busts to the floor and pulls out a Phantom Zone projector. And now, everyone's getting their bearings together, and they're like, "Oh no!" And he banishes them to the Phantom Zone. So that's why they're in the Phantom Zone. I read these out of order, but now I know. So he banishes them to the Phantom Zone, and then Cyborg, Superman, and Eradicator are like, "Oh, okay, so everything's going according to plan," because Eradicator's mission is to preserve Kryptonian life. Right? And Zod's like, oh yeah, everything's going according to plan, and Blank is psychic and can read minds and stuff. And Zod is like, I have plans for you. And Blank can't get in Zod's mind because Zod has already been messed with by Amanda Waller for the Suicide Squad missions. So he has all this mental protection. More terrifying than Superman. So now, he turns the Phantom Projector on Eradicator and Cyborg Superman. And Hank Henschel's like, no, you can't submit to the... And he's like, I can and I have Cyborg, and you will complete the mission. And it's like, that's it. It's like, that's that issue. It's great. The following issue, they're all in the Phantom Zone. And while they're in the Phantom Zone, Superman's basically, and by the way, Lex Luthor, like Power Armor Super Lex with the S, is also part of the team. So Lois and John.
The Revenge Squad or part of the good guys?
No, part of the good guys.
Wow.
There's more on Good Lex today, too. That's right. Good Lex.
Good Lex.
So, like, even though he's still a scumbag. So, like, Superman's in there, Lex is in there, Supergirl's in there, the Cyborg Superman, the Eradicator. So, like, in there, like, basically, Cyborg Superman's trying to, like, negotiate with them because he wants to get out. So, thanks to Lois and John being in the fortress, they are able to get out. At least Superman is Superman, Supergirl, and Steel. And so anyhow, now at this point, it's just that. Also, Zod is using Blank, who's like bleeding from the eyes, to use his psychic power to try to read their minds in the Phantom Zone to see what's going on.
Yeah.
So Zod is just torturing everyone who is part of the Revenge Squad to like help him because he wants something out of the Phantom Zone. You know?
Do we know what he wants?
Yes, because it is revealed this issue, and Zod gets what he wants. So
is it something or someone?
I'm about to tell you. So it's a huge spoiler. Huge spoiler. So Zod gets what he wants, even though it's a big commotional mess, right? And it's Ursa and Zod's son. Their
son?
Yes, because Ursa and Zod have a son.
Whoa.
And who in past continuity would have been Chris Kent. So in this continuity, this is just an all brand new Zod Ursa kid.
Yeah.
And they get out of the Phantom Zone. He goes, finally, my family. And they reunite and embrace, right? And they take off with the Eradicator. Because the Eradicator's mission is to preserve Kryptonian life. You know? And of course, you know, pure Kryptonian life. Because, you know, John can't, not pure. So they leave, and that's how we're left. The end of the issue is like all of them like standing on the mountainside together, like the Zod family, and it's like, you know, and you know, and Zod is like, and I will have my revenge. And of course, the whole series is called Revenge. Wow. Right, and of course, there's also the Revenge Squad. So I'm just like, wow. So Zod got what he wanted, and then Superman wraps everything up in the fortress. And Supergirl's like, you can't let Henshaw out of the Phantom Zone. And he's like, you're right, he's too dangerous. So he closes the Phantom Zone after Lex comes out. And he hides Lois and John, too, because he doesn't want Lex knowing about them. Not Crypto so much. And they all come out, and he closes the zone. And Hank Henshaw is in there like, damn you all! And like, so those are our cliffhangers. Henshaw's in the zone and pissed. Zod's with the Eradicator and his you know, his woman and child. And that's it. And they're still out there to torment the Like, this is what I love. I love that Zod's just out there. So he can, like, torment the DC Universe at will. I really, really, really like that. So that was Action 983 and 984, which we have the next cover for. This next. Yep. There we go.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a good
That's a great one. Beautiful, beautiful image of Zod. And I love that the artist is just really... it's Dan Jurgens, who worked with Superman in the 90s. You know?
I was gonna say, I remember reading.
Yeah,
Dan Jurgens worked on Death of Superman, didn't he?
Yes, and like here he is
and
now,
the Reign of the Superman,
and he's just giving us great Superman. Like, you know how some of our favorite writers, like, oh, you were so great then, and like now they do stuff where you're like, retirement is good. No, not him.
Try so hard.
No, right, Nick, don't try so hard. Yeah. Love him. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful that we still have great writers and artists who are still amazing now, even in, you know, at the more advanced stages of their career. Yeah. God, I was working so hard to make that sound right.
All right. So next up, let's keep trucking here. So now this is Deathstroke has turned good.
Yeah, Deathstroke has reformed. You know? So I've missed Titans Hunt, so I'm sorry. So some serious stuff went down. All right? Deathstroke had some sort of epiphany and realized that, you know, he's been a bad guy and he wants to do right by his son, Joe, who we formerly known as Jericho, right? And that's the one flying in the background with the blonde hair, right under the D of Defiance. Yeah. Okay? Kid Flash. Now, here's the messed up thing about Kid Flash. So Barry has let him down as a mentor, right? So like he's on the outs with Barry, and then during the Titans crossover, when it came right down to it, Kid Flash saved Deathstroke. And the Titans threw Kid Flash out. And he goes, I do not understand. I did the right thing. I saved someone's life. Yeah. Like, what kind of heroes are we? I don't understand any of this. So that's what he's doing with them. Tara is there, but Tara does not appear until the last page, which sucks because her reveal isn't that, like, powerful. Yeah. Because she's on the freaking cover. She's on every cover. So, like, that took away. Rose Wilson is his daughter, Ravager. Yep. And she is there, and she's his bastard child in this one, as his ex-wife keeps going on about. The new Power Girl we can't see her at all because she's under his armpit, and there we go. There she is. There she is. The new Power Girl, who tells us in this issue that she has all of the financing and approval from the original Power Girl. She goes, when she went back to her Earth, she gave me the name and her company and everything.
So just
to this young girl, I love it.
So is this the same Power Girl from before Rebirth, from Earth,
right? Except now she's been retconned. So now she's been retconned to, like, Power Girl went back to her Earth, befriended her, and we're all good here.
For the Power Girl from World's Finest. That went
Power Girl from World's Finest, okay. Yes. And literally, the editor's note references World's Finest.
Oh, wow.
When she's talking. So she goes back and forth with Kid Flash, like, what are we doing here? Yeah. Right? And Kid Flash goes through his whole thing, and she goes, so what did he promise you? That, he's trying to be a better person, that I can be part of a really good thing if I join this team. He's like, what did he promise you? She's like, he bought me a puppy. And he's like, and you trust him? And she's like, do you trust him? And then that's the end of their conversation. And then we cut to Rose and Joe talking. And they're talking about if they trust him. And they're trying to put everything together. So Joe was supposed to marry this woman that was murdered. And it looks like Deathstroke murdered her for sure. And even worse, that Deathstroke was sleeping with her while she was in a relationship with his son, Joe. And then now that they're all part of the team, and that Joe's mom has made them a team, and Deathstroke is willing to lead, and he keeps telling them, I'm a different person, Joe is questioning if Deathstroke is responsible for his fiance's death at all. Right? And again, I don't know. That's what's going around the room.
Yeah.
Deathstroke has gray hair again, which I love. Yeah. So that whole thing where he was young, over.
Good.
They go on their first mission in the new outfits and everything. Tara is not there. And he turns to a camera that Cyborg is watching, and he's like, we got this. The Defiance is going to take care of this. Leave the Justice League behind. And Cyborg's like, what? And then, of course, they burst into action on the final pages. And on the final pages, they're being watched by Deathstroke's ex-wife. And she seems to be talking to Wintergreen about, we know that Deathstroke, that Slade didn't kill Joe's fiance. And she's like, and then she keeps talking. I'm finally going to get rid of him. She goes, and betrayal is going to be involved. So that's why I need you. And then the last page is Tara holding a cigarette in the doorway being like, I'm all about betrayal. Just like from the Judas Contract. So I was just like, okay, great. And then the follow-up issue, if we cut to the next thing.
What's a good cover?
Oh, it's a great cover. Great cover. So if you guys remember from Identity Crisis, when Dr. Light's like, oh my God, I can remember what happened, the Justice League is going to want to kill me or something, he hires Deathstroke for protection. Okay. That is not quite revisited here fondly. So actually what Dr. Light has created, and we'll go to the next clip, Dr. Light has created the Radiant Men, an army of solid light dudes.
What?
To fight back the Defiance. Also, that little black card? I love that this is Meet the Flintstones. It's so great. But yeah, there's these little title cards telling you what's going on scene to scene in Deathstroke. So like they have to battle these guys, and what's worse is like they're in battle and they're calling them the Defiance, and they're like, who's the Defiance? And it's like, I think we're supposed to be the Defiance, and it's like, oh really? Papa Slade did a press release, and they're like, yeah, apparently keep fighting. So like, Power Girl goes giant to like, put up a fight, and she's just like, they're hard light. We gotta figure out how to fight this. It's great. It's just great. I don't even want to ruin. I feel like I ruined too much, but like, there's your setup for those 2 issues, and it's been such a really good time.
So it sounds like there's been woos so far.
It's all. I think everything I'm giving you today is woos. I think everything I'm delivering.
It's a woo-filled episode.
It's a woo-tacular. It's a woo-tacular.
Woo-tacular.
I feel like after Valerian, I feel we need to deliver woos.
All right. So next up, Faith in the Future Force. Now I read Faith #1.
Yep.
I thought it was okay. I like the idea of a more, natural looking woman as opposed to, sometimes some of the drawn female superheroes that we get. I didn't think the writing was fantastic, but it was a solid start to a story.
You're breaking my heart. You're talking about regular Faith.
Just regular Faith #1.
But that was a miniseries, so that was okay.
Yeah, it was just it was like what, four issues or something like that?
Yeah, it was like 4 issues,
But
and she got to go on her little date. I was happy for her. I love Faith. Faith is like me. Like, I just, I love it. Like, I'm all in. I'm a big chunky dude who wants to save the world, and she's just a chunky guy who wants to save the world.
So Faith in the Future Force. So give us a little setup on this one.
All right. So crazy. So she's like at her desk as a mild-mannered like journalist, publisher, whatever, and she's on the run from what happened like with the Harbinger Wars, Renegade stuff, all that stuff that went down with her and her friends. And I haven't even gotten. I mean, I actually read the Renegade trade, and I wish I could. Like, I want to talk more about that, but we're not going to do that today because there's so many comics to get through. But yeah, go back and read it. And even if you don't go back and read it, that's it. Faith tells you what you need to know. I'm stuck at my job. I can't be a superhero. Everybody's after me. It just sucks. And then cut to the next image, right? And then the Time Walker.
Ooh.
Shows up.
That's a good name.
Yeah, Tila something, the Time Walker. So yeah, Neela Sethi, the Time Walker. So Neela shows up and it's like, come with me if you want to save history, which is hilarious because it's like almost every other comic I read in the past month has been come with me if, and I just freaking love it. It's just hilarious. So Faith is like, and she's like, okay, you need to calm down, she's like, and she's like, I've been waiting for this my whole life. And she's like, you're a Doctor Who fan, aren't you? She's like, and she goes, calm down. There's no TARDIS. There's none of that. I need you to come with me.
Oh, wow.
Why can't anyone else see you? She goes, because what I'm wearing reflects what people expect to see. You expect to see exceptional people in your day-to-day life. Therefore, you see me for what I am. The rest of them just see me as some girl dragging you out of the office on a lunch date. So anyhow, they leave. She yells at her editor, I'll be back, blah, 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 blah. She's like, yeah, get your story and it's fine. So, like, they go. And then she's like, oh, they're in an alleyway, and there's this very tall woman there. She's like, oh, giant woman, and she's like, this inhibitor did, stupid Earthlings, and she hits it, and she's like, dinosaur woman.
Wow.
So her current psychic is this dinosaur woman, and Time Walker keeps making like little. Saying like little things like, oh, I promised myself I was going to be better about this. And she's saying like she's had conversations with herself before.
Okay.
Right? Which is hilarious because we're getting there. So they go to the past. Oh, the first thing she says to her before she changes and they go to the past is, have you heard of Adolf Hitler? And she goes, no, I've never heard of him. Why are you asking? She goes, unfortunately, you should have. So they go back in time. And there's this weird freaking robot there. And he's literally deleting everything around them, right? And they're like, okay, well, we have to bring Faith because the only clue we got is that we need her. So they're watching. Faith puts on her outfit, and she flies off into battle, and And Time Walker, she opens her hand, and it's a piece of Faith's uniform, her costume, that has her name on it. And Dinosaur Woman.
Is that really
That's not her name? I just can't remember. I got obsessed with that name. Turns to her and is like, "You don't think she already, like, right?" She goes, I don't know. We'll have to see. So she confronts the robot thing, and the robot thing is like, "I already received what I needed from you, rah, rah, rah," like nothing, right? And Faith is like, "Yeah, but, like, I'm here to stop you." And he's, like, literally just digitally just removing, like, everything around him, right? So Faith has this, like, tethering power where she, like, you know, like, lassos you up with, like, you know, her, like, energy, like, thing. So she starts lassoing up the robot, and the robot's like, "Okay, I'm not playing games," right? Takes her energy, turns it into a blade, and fires it right through her chest and kills her, right? And then just, like, vanishes through, like, a freaking time portal.
The robot vanishes.
The robot does, right? And then, like...
so it's a one-issue comic.
Oh, no. It gets much more complicated. Wow. So then Time Master's like, "Oh, my God, this is terrible." It's like, "Oh, yeah, clearly she was going to die, whatever. Like, we have to do something." Click to the next. So there's Dinosaur Woman in the background, like, vanishing. So the robot returns to destroy everything there, and she realizes that she only has moments to escape Neela. And so she opens a time portal, and then multiple ones so she can escape the shockwave until she gets to the one where she and Dinosaur Woman are having coffee that morning. And then leaves a brand new note on the table. So the last note was a shred of Faith's uniform. The new note now says, "Faith is not enough, you need more." Right? So now we replay the events from that morning, and now you know why Tila says, "Oh, I keep promising myself I'll do better," because she's like, "But she said you're not enough." So now, like, we've replayed the whole office scene, only with the new information that you're not enough. And she's like, "Do you have friends you can call?" And she's like, "Are you kidding me?" So it's like everyone from the miniseries that I told you about, like, all her friends show up, like, "Let's do this. Where are we going? We're going to save the world. We're going to time travel." So she opens up a new time portal to the past, only this time now it's Faith and all her friends. So that's an issue 1, right?
Wow.
Yes, so big woo.
Wow.
Yes, absolutely. That's a great
love
story.
it when any type of storytelling involves watching multiple versions of the same thing, or, you know, like there's a great Star Trek: The Next Generation episode, Cause and Effect, where they keep reliving the same moment with the Enterprise. Like the cold open is the Enterprise is shaking, they're like having a problem, there's this portal thing, and then the next thing you know, Picard's screaming abandon ship, and then the Enterprise explodes. And then it goes to the title sequence, and you're like, okay, so what's going to happen next? And then they keep replaying it, and then they have to figure out a way to, like, give themselves a message in the past similar to this. I love those kinds of stories.
And wasn't the message was to collide the ships intentionally? Like, not avoid it, not escape, just go together?
It was to open up the... so they kept getting the message 3. Yeah. And they didn't understand what it was. And then finally Data realized that so at the critical point, Commander Riker had a suggestion, and Data had a suggestion, and Picard goes with Data's suggestion. And the message 3 was the number of pips on Commander Riker's collar was 3, because commanders have 3 pips.
And that was used this idea.
So then as soon as Picard said, to go with Data's suggestion, Data looked up and saw the 3 pips and said, belay that order. I'm gonna do what Commander Riker says. They do that. They decompress the main shuttle bay. It pushes the ship out of the way, and then the USS Bozeman, captained by Captain Fraser Crane, Kelsey Grammer,
which upset me so much because I was like, why did they get him only for 5 seconds? Why? It broke my heart.
So I love stories like that. The movie Go, things like that. I think Sliding Doors is something. So
no, Sliding Doors more. Go just switches perspectives.
But they replay a certain sequence of events,
right? So that you see them through new eyes.
Yeah, and then it's really interesting. So
I like that. I happen to like not only that you see them through new eyes, but there's new pieces to the puzzle. Yeah. So this killer robot thing deletes time. He will delete all of time to complete his purpose. They must stop him. It is a great opener.
Incredible. That's
great
amazing.
Opener.
So definitely follow up with this one.
Oh yeah, no, like a must read, like high woos, 5 stars. The art's beautiful, like go all in.
That's awesome. All right, so next up, Saban's Go-Go Power Rangers.
Go Power Rangers.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Cliff. That was really nice.
So so we start after the Rangers have won like their first battle in their Megazord.
Yep.
Against Giant Size Goldar, and then like we cut back to them like just figuring things out in their head at school. You know? And so, like, it's basically their first week as Power Rangers, only now, again, we're seeing it through fresh eyes.
Yeah.
Right? So we're seeing all their insecurities, talking in the hallway. You know, we learn a little bit more about Jason. Like, you know, why are you here? Like, everybody thinks, like, he's perfect. And he's like, you don't realize, like, all the training that I do, all the martial arts, is, like, to stay grounded because I used to be the crazy violence guy. I thought that was kind of cool. Like, so, like, that was a good step. So we get a little taste of who all of them are. Enough for me to speculate, but I'm not going to say, but enough, you know, like there's some cool things. And, but yeah, like Rita doesn't understand who they are. You know, that's Rita Repulsa up there and she lives on the moon, right? And all they know, but what they do know is they do know the astronauts are up there. They do know the astronauts accidentally released her, and they know that the astronauts have not returned or been released. So the Rangers decide what we should do now that we won a battle with Goldar, pull ourselves together, go to the moon, rescue the astronauts. It's the right thing to do. Yeah. So like Zordon basically is like, okay, like sure, you know? And so they go up there and it's like trouble right away, and there's putties for them to fight, and the putties are like her useless henchmen. Yeah. And Jason, of course, as the Red Ranger, decides, you know, I basically want to go after Rita myself, you know, because like he figures
it's always a good idea.
Yeah, right. And so I again, I don't want to ruin it, but like if you really love Power Rangers, like this book is great, the art's great, I had a great time. Like it just ends with Rita smacking Jason through the wall, the other Rangers like going, what the heck? And then Rita with all her henchmen like, oh hi, I'm Rita, like that's Jason, you must be Trini, and you must be so-and-so. She's like, oh, I know all your names now. She's like, oh, you're all gonna die. And like that's the last page. And it was just great. So yeah, like I thought it was a good first issue. I mean, I don't feel the way about this that I felt about Faith, but I mean, I feel about it enough that if you really like Power Rangers, you should be picking this up. Yeah, and even if you don't like Power Rangers so much, I don't know, you're just questionable. Try it. Like I gotta say, I'm the independents for this month that I'm gonna talk about are among some of my favorite reads.
That's awesome. All right, so next up, so a woo.
Oh, it's a woo. Like I told you, full of woos.
Full of woos. Green Arrow. Now, I heard a little bit about where this story is going.
Well, yeah, this is Hard Traveling Hero because it's him on the road. I don't know everything going on, which is unfortunate because I picked this up because I saw Superman and I got all excited.
Yeah.
And
because Oliver's in Metropolis now?
He's in Metropolis in this issue. So what I pieced together from this is Oliver is after somebody who we get a glimpse of. He's some kind of big red alien dude. And Oliver is after this person, or creature alien person, right? And this person always seems to be 12 steps ahead of everyone. And Oliver thinks something, and all of it is being done through Queen Industries. So Oliver is like trying to piece it together. So Superman is out and about in public, and it's lovely. And so, like, the first thing you notice, somebody's falling out of the sky, and they're like, oh my God, Superman. Superman flies up, and he's like, don't worry, you're worth saving, like, you know, whatever. And then Superman puts him on the ground, he's like, but I'm not worth saving, I'm not. And Superman looks up, and there's, like, dozens more people, like, who threw themselves off the building who are coming down. And Superman is just super speeding and flying around and picking them up. And Lex and Green Arrow are going at it in Lex's corporate office. And he's like, Lex, you don't understand, this, that, the other thing. He's like, this is coming from Queen Industries. Something's making these people this way. He's like, there's dirt in them. So there's an app, and the app took everyone in Metropolis's personal dirt. And if you use the app, your dirt is exposed to like the whole world, right? So then Arrow and Superman go and continue to try and stop suicide attempts, including hangings and stuff. Like one woman's in a building trying to hang herself. Superman just heat visions the freaking rope or whatever it is to make sure that she's okay. So it's just Arrow and Superman just saving people while Lex is trying to figure it out. Lex breaks the algorithm, makes new software, sends it out through the app. So the old algorithm exploited all your personal crap, and then it was like sending out the subliminal message of fear, anxiety to make sure that you were totally triggered by your personal info being out there. And then he replaced it with something funny, with a message, with a subliminal message of hope and peace.
Lex Luthor.
Yes.
Lex Luthor.
Yes.
A message of hope and peace.
Yes.
From Lex Luthor.
Super Lex. Yes. That's right. What did I say about Heroclix this month?
I don't know.
What did I say about Heroclix? I can't. I couldn't handle it either. Wait, it gets better. It gets better. He goes to Superman and Oliver, and Superman straight up was like, Lex, what do you even want? He's like, hey, I came to follow up with Green Arrow, right? With my new friend here. So he like shows him digitally everything he found. He goes, and as a gift, he said, you said this guy is always 12 steps ahead. I'm going to give you a favor. I traced something to Gotham City. He's like, I remember the rich people there aren't as scrupulous as I am. Bye, and flies away. And I'm like, what am I reading? So I may actually follow up on this because that was great.
That sounds amazing.
And next issue is Gotham Underground.
Wow. So Oliver's just like traveling to all these DC cities.
Yeah, trying to piece together who's using his company to do horrible stuff.
Great.
It is
That's
so
such a great way to get like guest stars and guest
and relevant, like the fact that Lex is still being Super Lex, like they just put it all to work.
So good.
I loved it. I was
That's
like,
amazing.
So yeah.
That's. I mean, I didn't even read it. I'm giving it a woo.
Yeah,
That's
there
fantastic.
you go. I told you that. You know, did I not say to you? I've read so much stuff, and I'm just exploding trying to talk about it.
All right. So next up we have.
This is
from
Superman.
it.
Yeah. See, no, I'm not worth it. And he's like, Soup. So Superman's like, what's happening? And there's more people coming down.
Wow.
And the artwork's beautiful too.
All right. So next up, Iceman. Oh, I remember this.
So I'm revisiting Iceman.
Okay.
Because
I remember you weren't particularly crazy about the portrayal of
and now I'm forgiving it because the author was at San Diego Comic-Con talking about how he's doing the slow story.
Gotcha.
Right? And he's like, I've had people go, no, just totally out Iceman, what's wrong with you? And then I realized that I was in that group. Yeah. And then I realized there's other people who are appreciating that he's taking his time. And, you know, like, so there's like little things that are in there, like Iceman, like trying to like figure out like, you know, how to use Grindr and like, and like, and like it's cute. So like, and also like the kind of like, it makes him uncomfortable. Yeah. You know, so I thought that it was very cute, very well handled. And of course, him and Kitty are like still, you know, tracking down these, you know, anti-mutant people. So basically, like anti-mutant gun runners. It's just
really,
yeah, it's bad. And then of course, you know, family issues to throw into the mix because that's always fun. So yeah, so I've elevated it to soft woo.
Soft woo. All right.
Elevated to soft woo.
All right. So next up.
Tons of Justice League of America.
Oh wow!
This is the most recent issue, and that's the Kingbreaker. And
Is that the Ray?
That's the Ray.
That's the Ray, and is that Vixen?
That is Vixen. Yes. So Vixen is hurting. Let's cut to the next one. So that's Justice League of America number 7, and let's cut one more. There's 8 with Maxon and. Oh, wow. Now I went too far. All right. So let's go back to one more. All right. So we'll start here. So Killer Frost is suffering from like heat sickness. That's what like Ray Palmer has diagnosed it as. Oh, wow. And Ray is working very closely with her. Oh, I see it.
He's there on her shoulder.
Yeah. Ray is working very closely with her to fix it. At the exact same time, the League is the background story that the League is dealing with is there's something that the League has called the Might. And the Might is granting wishes to people. So that's something going on in the background. And then the other thing that they're currently dealing with, and this is issues 6 and 7, they're dealing with a town where a Khund, Khund, they're usually a Legion of Superheroes villain, but they're an alien race. Mm-hmm. So this Khund warrior landed in this town, right? By the way, Ray And Vixen troll Batman so hard in this series. It's everything. Especially Vixen. I feel like Ray is like the challenger. Vixen is the troll. It is fabulous. So, basically, this guy who lived there, his name is Xenos, right? Xenos or whatever, right? And, like, he's very technical. And the Kund is like, oh, you build weapons for me, and, like, I'll preserve your town, and your town will flourish and persevere, right? And if you don't, I'll just murder you and everyone you love. So everyone who... his whole...
you put it that way.
Yeah, his friends, family, everyone think that he's like a gun runner. So, like, the town is divided on being prosperous and also, like, oh, like, he's a gun runner. Look what's happened to our town. And, of course, while the Kund is there's all this stuff. People are flying around on, like, unicorn-looking things, and with wings or griffin-looking things.
Yeah.
So Vixen, thanks to her total powers, is like, nope, those things aren't real. You can kill them. Like, there's no life there. The Ray is dealing with Lobo on, like, trying to fix the situation. And Lobo's, like, giving him all sorts of sass. He's like, the only way to get me to regenerate with my heart damage, because... Oh, yeah, Lobo and Ryan, the Atom, secretly try to attack the guy head on against Batman's orders. And, like, the Kund was totally ready for Lobo and, like, fired this thing through his chest, which, of course, would affect which also affected Lobo's regeneration. So, Lobo is telling Ray to use his light power to make a lance and stab his heart right out. And then put it back in so he can reboot the regeneration process.
Yeah.
And Ray is like, I just don't know if I can't. So he said some horrible stuff to him that forced him to do it. And he's like, I knew you could do it, kid. I knew. He goes, my favorite thing on this planet, because it's innocent and pure, is the dolphin. He's like, that's why Batman made a deal with me. He's like, I want to protect the dolphins. And you kid, are a dolphin.
Oh my god!
And he's like, and don't tell anyone else I said that. And I'm like, oh,
Lobo is one of my favorite characters ever.
I know, and like, normally I want to hate him, but like, there's this beautiful moment. Anyhow, so I gave you some backstory there, and there's a lot of issues. They found this, so then following.
How many issues did you read?
I went 6 through 11. So. That's a lot.
Oh, so that's 6 issues.
Yeah,
it's 5 issues. Does that bring you current on the run?
6 issues, yeah.
Does that bring you
current on the run? So there's that. They go to the Wildlands, like the DC version of the Savage Land. They find this guy Max in there, who they believe that they've saved. Mm-hmm. So he's issue 8 if we want to hit that. There we go. So they find him, and there's another 2-parter.
So he is
brand new character.
Just a brand new character. We don't know his backstory or his origin.
Well, we get all of that because they find him right in the wildland. They bring him back to civilization. Batman doesn't trust him. He thinks everything's all wrong. The cliffhanger of part 1 is Ray slips into one of the apartments in one of the buildings his wealthy family owns, and he's like, Maxon can't be trusted. He does have a plan. He wants revenge. He wants blood. He wants everyone to pay for losing his wildland family. And so that's how issue 1 ends. And Max is at this big event with all the wealthy people that made sure that his wild family was in danger because they wanted to exploit the wildlands for money. And he's got them all in a room. So cut to the next issue, and sure enough, he rips his shirt off. He's totally savage. He's clawing people to death. The Ray is devastated because he wants to give people a second chance, and is just horrified, right?
Wow.
And of course, who does he go after him and Batman yell at each other or argue at each other? Who does he go for to be consoled by, right? Xenos, who also feels out of place because now that nobody in his town will talk to him since the thing with the Kund weapons deal, right? He's like, well, dude, Batman just like put me in charge of your new headquarters and told me to just fix everything up, and I'm just trying to make my way through, and like, sometimes it's all we can. He's like, this guy didn't turn out to be what you wanted. And anyhow, it was like really weird. Like the Justice League actually just had a discussion with Maxon and just like, what are we to do? And they returned him to the wildland. Even though he attacked all these people. But Ray was devastated because he wants to be like open and trusting, which is fascinating considering how messed up his birth life is.
The Ray?
The Ray.
Ray Palmer?
The Ray. No, there's no Ray Palmer here.
There's no Ray Palmer.
It's Ryan Choi Adam and The Ray.
Oh, okay.
So, there's that story, and we learn more about what's-her-name's heat sickness. It's even worse. They went to a healer who put a mask on, to like look at her and like see her life force energies, and there's like very little original Caitlyn life force energy.
Really?
Right. There's little or none according to what they found. So that's pretty rough. And then the other, oh my God, there's just so much going on. And then of course her and Ray start to develop a relationship because he is spending, even when she is asleep, she'll wake up and he'll be like, oh, Caitlyn, I found something new about your condition that we can go explore. And she's like, Ryan is so, Ryan Choi, the Ray. Ryan Choi, the Atom. And she's like, oh, he's so dedicated to like helping me. And Vix is like, girl, like, can't you tell that this guy is like, got a thing for you? So she approaches him and they have a little thing that starts going on.
Okay.
The town. They did save the town. They stopped the Kond invasion. That poor guy gets exiled from his town. But Vixen promises the people to make everything right. She's like, my foundation will come here. And we'll hire and train people. And we'll help rehabilitate your area. And trust me, where my foundation goes, people take notice. Other businesses will follow. And just looks right over at Batman. Right? And I'm like, I love it. Right?
Not so subtle hint.
So then later on, like, you know, now that Ryan's like, so we get to the Kingbreaker, which was like the most current one. Go back, I think, again. I'm sorry I got these all like all over the place. There he is, right? Yeah. So we get to this storyline, right? And this is back to people making wishes. Mm-hmm. And some of them, you know, seem, you know, like, you know, acceptable. Like, just doesn't seem to be anything too extreme. Yeah. You know, not everybody's heart's desire is just to rule the world. Some people are just like, oh man, I'd really love it, you know, if I just, you know, had $200,000 in the bank or something. But Batman has kept it in mind that since at the beginning of the series, they fought the extremists, whatever is out there, this thing called the Might, is behind this, and it can't be good. And Ray is like, well, not everybody's bad, blah, 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 right? And so anyhow, while they're going through that whole thing of not everybody's bad, and then they start arguing about personal sacrifice, and everybody leaves the room, and Vixen turns straight up to Bruce, and is like, and you, Bruce, are one to talk about it. And she goes, and when are you going to open up a little bit to the rest of the team? They don't need me to open up. That's what the rest of you are doing here for. And she's just like, oh, we're going to see. But I just love it because every time she can give it to Bruce, it's there. Wow. So the Kingbreaker storyline. So this guy tries to convince them, nope, I'm here to destroy these dreams. He's like, I'm the dreamers, the people who are like the Might is calling to. He's like, I'm sorry, they gotta die. He's like, no, that's horrible, no. And he's like, oh, you think all dreams are innocent, Ray? Really? So him and the Ray, he goes, let's see what some of these dreamers are wishing for. And they stop at this house, and he goes, look what your mother wished for. And he looks through the window, and it's his mother with a brand new family, a new husband and a new little boy. Whoa. The same woman who locked him up for 18 years and basically blamed him for everything wrong in her life because she had to keep him secluded. So in the follow-up issue, Ray is the one who defeats Kingbreaker. He only has his stupid crown is the only thing that ties him to the physical world, and Ray just turned it to light. You know, and then they pummeled the heck out of him. And when it was all over, his mother confronts him and is like, please, I didn't know you'd become a superhero. I didn't know anything. You don't know. I was just scared. And he's like, listen, you already got your wish. Go to your new family, and takes off. So again, back at the league this league's headquarters, Xenos is there to talk to him, and he goes, I can't see my mother and my brothers, because they all think I'm a gun runner. I'll never be able to speak to them again. He's like, you have a mother who might actually have changed and might want to restart a relationship with you. The least you could do is hear her out, right? After he gives him some lip, and he goes, and he's like, you know what? He goes, you've absolutely made, and of course he reiterates, I am here, I am alone, I have no one. Right? And he's like, you've really made a good point, and like, really thank you for being there for me. And they have this really tender hug. And I knew right then and there, this is a budding romance between Ray and Xenos. I just felt it. The feels are there. And then, of course, Bleeding Cool came with this whole story about Ray, starring in Freedom Fighters, will be, you know, gay in the animated.
Oh, wow.
So definitely that's what's going down. So, again, taking the slow road, but a sensible slow road where Ray is still just trying to figure out life. So I'm very happy with all that. The Kingbreaker is brought before the Lords of Order. They're the ones who sent him in the first place. And he's like, no, just it's like, make me whole again and send me back. I'll do it. And they're like, no. We're going to upgrade our tactics. And that's it. So, like, the Lords of Order are involved. So I'm just like, yeah. So, am I right that I was, like, losing my mind wanting to talk about Justice League of America?
Insane.
Justice League of America is awesome. Huge woo. Read the whole freaking series. Buy the trades. Go out. I complain about spending, too much money on comics. Read this whole series. It's freaking awesome. I'm so freaking excited. I'm so freaking excited.
All right. Huge woo for that.
Huge woo.
So let's move on to...
Oh my God. It just keeps getting insane.
This is...
Out on stands today.
And the name of this is...
So this is Justice League, right?
Right, Justice League. So, but the subtitle on the cover was The Future
Justice League.
The Future Children of the Justice League.
Right, there you go. The Future
Children of the Justice League. And this caught my eye when I was putting the comics out.
I bet it did.
So I'm very interested because right up there, that is definitely... Oh, my finger went away.
Yep.
Right up there.
Yep.
That guy right there is clearly...
Yep.
I mean, he looks like...
Yeah.
He looks like Wonder Woman's son.
He is.
And possibly Superman's son?
Darn right. And so his name is Hunter. And on page 2 and 3, when they do the spread, you're now seeing the backs of the team, and the back is Superman's cape. Wow. So this future team has a mission. They're all children of the Justice League. They want to fix things. There's something out there called Sovereign. Right? Sovereign took over everything, even Mount Olympus. Whoa. And has completely taken over their world, and they don't know what to do with themselves. So they're like, okay, we've got to break into They're like, we got to do a break-in. Of course, the break-in is the Batcave. Everything is the break-in to the Batcave.
Why does everybody always have to break into the Batcave?
Because Batman always has the best stuff, apparently.
Jeez.
So anyhow,
I feel like you have to break into the Batcave, but if you want to go to the Fortress of Solitude, you just don't show up and open the door.
No, you bring Mr. Miracle with you.
True.
Or someone who can lift Dwarf Star Matter keys.
Oh, right.
I love that. I like how they did on Supergirl, where it was a Dwarf Star Matter key, but instead of it being huge, it was like small.
Yeah.
And you needed to have ridiculous super strength to pick it up.
Yeah.
So there's 2 children of Green Lantern, and we didn't get heavy into them, but I'm assuming like they're the children of Guy Gardner and Ice.
Ooh.
And like the one who looks more like Ice actually has like the little Green Lantern logo, but when they use their powers, they make yellow and red constructs.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like, oh man. So I'm like, I can't wait to know more about the kids.
So who are they? Who is it? These 2?
Yes, the 2 in the middle.
The 2 in the middle.
Down.
Yeah. So
right.
You can kind of see the green. Is it the Green Lantern logo?
That's the
under
Green
his shirt?
Lantern logo. Yep.
And on his sleeve, and then this girl here.
Yes. Who doesn't have a lot of revealing features about Green Lantern. Serenity, Queen of Atlantis, is Aquaman's daughter.
Okay.
And, of course, she left Atlantis to join this team. They're like one of the things I liked about the writing, and I can't believe it. Like, I've been like so on Brian Hitch on this, but this issue was awesome. Like, the art, the story,
Does
everything.
this kick off the story?
This kicks off the story.
Right, I may have to pick this up because this is very interesting.
One of the key things I'm really into is picking up jumping on points. Like I decided to give Deathstroke Troy a chance because that was a jumping on point. This is a jumping on off point, because it's Brian Hitch's last arc on Justice League. Mm-hmm. But it was really good. And so like they break into the Batcave, and of course Serenity confronts them, and not Serenity, of course Sovereign confronts them, who also appears to be female. And Serenity and Hunter, Super Wonder Kid, do everything they can to hold her off, and then we cut to the past. And the past, the Justice League, and this is like the very end. The Justice League reached a town that had like maybe 10,000 people. All of them got like superpowered and murdered each other. And they're all ridiculously disturbed by what happened there. And Wonder Woman and Superman are the most affected by this. right? They're like, I don't understand what happened here. And he says, but Diana, we do so much good for the world. We stop alien invasions, whatever. She goes, we do all of that. And then we think we're okay. And yet the number one problem we have that we don't stop is people killing each other. She goes, and I just don't want to do this anymore. I want to focus on, she goes, we should focus on the one problem. And he's like, Diana, we can't just impose our will on everybody, which of course is what happens in Justice, that big Alex Ross mega series. That the Justice League just decided, like, that's it. We are going to fix the world. We just got to stop trying to like sit back and like let everyone be inspired and do it on their own. Yeah. So right now they're kind of having that talk, you know. Wow. And she's touching Cal's chest and she goes, do you want a world like that for our children? You know, like not saying like our children, like my kid, your kid, not knowing what's about to happen. And he's like, I don't know, Diana. So, like, the League is basically having this moment of, like, you know, like, maybe we really do got to focus on the terrible things of Earth. And right then and there, they see these 3 sparkles of light, and they're like, oh, it's the Infinity Light. I was like, oh, my God, no, they're not doing, like, Infinity Stones, right? Because it was a previous villains that they had fought used this technology to, like, teleport. But no, out come the kids. And so they face them, like, who are you? And they're like, we're your future children from a world that's nearly destroyed, and it's all your fault. and it's like next issue, the future Justice League. Oh, and by the way, when they tried to leave, the first person they fought was Cyborg's technology keeping Arthur Curry alive, and Arthur Curry wearing a Black Lantern ring, and his daughter going, I gave up on you the minute you stopped treating me like a person. And also she goes, oh my God, it's disgusting. It's like a corpse. It's like a ghost wrapped in the corpse of your own father when I look at him. Wow. So like, I'm telling you, this was a book to read. It was just crazy.
So it was a boo.
Yeah, of course. No, this is a woo. This is a woo. I'm sorry that it's like everything's just like epic.
This is a great week for comics in general. So
yeah, I'm just like, read the comics, are great. Oh, this is out of order. That's the con that was there. Ooh. All right, Mech Cadet U. Do you like Big Hero 6?
I do.
Do you like giant mechs battling giant creatures from an alien world?
I do.
This is your comic. It's a group of kids who are mech cadets, right? Who all want to get their own mech to bond with to fight these supersized alien invaders.
So kind of like Pacific Rim, but for the kids? Pacific Rim Junior?
Pacific Rim PG-13.
Okay.
With, you know, the vibe of... Right, because remember, the vibe of
Big Hero 6.
Big Hero 6 is a little... There's a tone.
Yeah.
So that serious tone is there, but also that fun friendship. It's going to be so great when we get our own mechs. We're doing it. We're training for it. It's what we want. And again, I'm not going to say too much more because then it ruins it. But like, because it's simple, but it's a fun, simple start. Wow. So again, Boom Studios. Woo! Same Boom Studios giving us... Go Power Rangers. Yeah. So thumbs up and big woo.
That's awesome. All right.
The New God Special.
New God Special. I put this on the shelf and I was like, hello, Orion.
A nice tribute to Jack Kirby. 2 Orion stories in this one. Great. There will be other specials. One of them dedicated to Sandman.
Is that Calabac?
That is Calabac, who he fights most of the issue.
Yep.
It was good. The main story was written and drawn by Shane Davis. His artwork was great. It was a nice, simple New Gods versus Calabac story, where Calabac is just trying to destroy people because he wants Darkseid's praise.
So now, for people who may not know this, now Orion is Highfather's son, but not really.
Right, he's genetically
Darkseid's son.
Yes,
and Calabac, who is raised by Darkseid, is really Highfather's son.
No, he's like... Oh. No, Highfather's son is Mr. Miracle.
Oh, okay.
And Calabac is like... I used to think the same thing, by the way. Especially because of the way you look at Calabac's like structure and the big beard, you would think... And that would make a really compelling story.
That may be how they do it on the Justice League animated series. I have a feeling in the Justice League animated series, it's
Well, actually, that
or Justice League Unlimited, whichever, like that whole series,
that origin is actually told in Superman the Animated Series,
which is part of that universe.
Which is part
of Justice League.
Absolutely,
Unlimited.
but most people, when they reflect back on it, they don't realize that Superman the Animated Series told that whole story the first time Darkseid invaded, and then who did Darkseid kill? Turpin, who they modeled after Jack Kirby. Which was like really crazy and sad. Yeah. And what a great episode too. An excellent two-parter. Anyhow, so there's two stories. The other one is him and another new god whose name I forgot, but they're having an underwater adventure, recon adventure on Apocalypse, and it's written and drawn by Walt Simonson. Again, they're like very simple stories. I'm not going to get into it because it's just kind of like, you know, like Orion's like, oh yes, I always knew, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's fun. I know.
A nice little homage.
It's two really nice homages, and Lonar, son of New Genesis or something like that, is included in the back because, like, I guess I don't think he ever got to fully publish that one, and he has a little encounter with Orion in the back, so that's cool. So just for the love of Jack Kirby, totally pick this up, but it's just a normal woo across. And
and this year is Jack Kirby's 100th birthday, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Which we should be expecting something upstate to happen at the end of this month for his birthday.
Cool. Awesome.
Normally, it's a big fundraiser for the Hero Initiative. Last year, there wasn't a big one. So some locals in Troy did something at their art studio. But normally, like Schulte's Brewery, they do a big thing. They make Genesis Brew, you know,
cool,
in honor of him. And, of course, Genesis because of him, and also Genesis because, you know... So, like the Torah. So, there we go.
All right.
Back to Marvel.
Spider-Man. Wait a minute. Are we about to give Marvel some love here?
Yes.
All right.
It's a $4.99 book. So, that's rough. Oof. But it is part 2. And who is Peter Parker's sister? Right? Dun, dun, dun. Anyhow.
So, this is Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yes.
That's this book. This is issue number 2.
This is issue number 2.
All right. We see a lot of people on this cover.
Well, it's just kind of like the idea that like Spider-Man spends his life in that world, and then like this book is more geared towards, you know, Peter Parker as Spider-Man. You know, so like it's just a fun back and forth. So, as you know,
is it Howard the Duck?
Yeah, that's Howard the Duck.
That is Howard the Duck. He's right. He's right over here. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Bottom
Howard
right.
the Duck.
That's amazing.
Cap Falcon.
Amadeus Cho Hulk.
Amadeus Cho Hulk.
Rhea Williams Iron Man.
Yep. Or Ironheart. There's Human Torch. There's Miles Morales up there.
Cyclops.
Miss Marvel and Cyclops. The Vision.
Squirrel Girl.
I like the Thing made it to the cover.
Yeah.
Yep. This is all very heavily shadowed.
Is that Ben Reilly, Spider-Man? Or is that? Oh no, that's Miles Morales.
That's Miles Morales.
I'm sorry, that's Miles.
Ant-Man's on there. By the way, this cover is very heavily shadowed. The background is very heavily shadowed in the final product.
Now this is one of the. Is this one of the? They did it this week. They did a bunch of Capcom versus Marvel covers.
Yes.
Is this? Did this have a variant?
I
of
don't
that?
think so.
Okay.
But the Capcom.
Maybe I'm thinking of Spider-Man number 19.
One of my friends thought that they were all like too cartoony, too Capcom-y, and I was like, I freaking love it. I think they're beautiful. They were awesome. And one of them is by. One of them is Riley Brown's, and it's just epic. Like Miles Morales is in there, and the Hulk is in there. And then, like when he posted on Facebook, he's like, "I'm not sure if this is a giveaway or not that I put Miles on the cover." So now the next Marvel Capcom game, Miles is probably in it.
Nice.
So I thought that was great. So anyhow, that aside, fun issue. We learn about Peter's sister, and of course, it's the girl who was CIA. Who posed as Peter's sister.
Oh.
And she and Kingpin were both brainwashed, and then later on the effects were off. She remembered that Peter's Spider-Man because she starts giving her a high time. She goes, "And how do you, Peter Parker, know the Human Torch?" And he's like, "Well, you know, it's just she goes, "Relax, I remember you're Spider-Man." And he's like, "What?" And then he's like, "Wait a second." And so they have this great conversation, very friendly. Yeah. And he's like, and of course, and she's not really related to him, but of course, you know, his parents were CIA agents.
Yeah.
they touch on that. And then he goes, wait a second, if you remember, I can't have Wilson Fisk remembering. Dun, dun, dun. So we just leave that there. That nugget is just there. Wow. We don't go back to it. There's no cliffhanger, no nothing. But yes, especially because Wilson Fisk has his own book, right? I am dying to know if he remembers or if it comes back to him and if he chooses to do anything with it. I think that's good writing setup. And this is, Zarsky is writing this, so of course I very much like it. So yeah, it's a woo, it's some Marvel love. Yeah. You know, the background story is moving along, and of course the CIA is going to be involved. So I'm very pleased.
Very cool. So big woo on that one too?
It's a good woo.
It's a good woo.
It's a good
solid woo.
It's a I chose to spend my $4.99 again.
Nice.
You know?
Nice. All right. Superman number 28. So we're back to DC.
I can't. Superman 28. All right. So it's very sweet. Superman and Lois decide to take their son on like a United States tour. So they're in Washington and they go through all the wars, right? And they talk about everything. They talk about World War II. They talk about the Korean War, the Vietnam War, why the Korean War is the forgotten war, even though so many people died in such a short period of time. I mean, it's a solid history lesson on the wars that we've had. Solid and straightforward and, you know, unbiased. So, you know, and then I was like, okay, but this is a bit of a very, I mean, talk about densely populated, heavy issue. And like literally, instead of all of it happening in narration, like Lois and Clark are like lecturing to us, like as like we're walking past the Washington Monument and everything. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh my God. I was like, and in the meantime, I'm thinking to myself, because I had read Super Sons before this. Yeah. And I was just like, oh my God, you're just taking me on a wild ride with Super Sons. And then I read this and I'm like, what the hell is this, Tomasi? Like, what are we doing? Like, what is this? So, like, it was very good. And then they meet this family that celebrates every year with a little cake on the 4th of July because of someone who served in their family for the North in the Civil War who was murdered there, you know? And they can't bury the body or reclaim the body or whatever, blah, 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 blah. The whole sob story, right? And they have the cake, and of course they've invited the Kents to sit with them or whatever, or the Whites, I forgot what they're calling themselves now. And they're like, oh, well, your son's the youngest, so he should light the candle. And so he lights the candle, and they have a nice time. Cut to Superman and Lois in bed, and Superman's just like wide awake, and he gets out of bed, and Lois is like, I was wondering what's taking you so long. So this is where the story just gets wild and crazy. Superman goes to the bottom of this lake, finds the bones. Oh my gosh! Right. Pulls them out, and I guess tries it with heat vision, you have to assume, wraps it in the American flag, brings it to this guy's doorstep, knocks on the door, and leaves a little folded card that basically, like, you know, I couldn't let this go undone, like, you know, signed Superman or something like that, and then flies away. Now, I don't know about you. Do you not find that a little bit creepy?
I'm having two emotions.
I'm having like, oh, this.
I'm having like this heartwarming, like doing something for someone that is an impossible task.
Yes.
And fulfilling somebody's like major desire.
Yep.
And the fact that you just delivered a dead body to someone's doorstep and left a note.
Like the police are going to be all over you.
Like, here's a body from the Civil War.
Right.
Civil War, like, you know, yeah, it's like, did Superman just go kill somebody and put him in the thing to make me feel better?
Yes.
Like, what just happened?
Right. Or how about the police coming and investigating? This is a criminal offense. Who the hell gets notes from Superman? We're going to take you all in for questioning.
Wow.
Like, am I wrong?
No, I'm feeling the same way.
So it is a very, very bizarre issue.
Is there a resolution?
That's the happy ending. They get back in the Winnebago and drive off like it's all good. And Jonathan is none the wiser. Jonathan's like, who wants mac and cheese? And they're like, oh yeah, we do. And he's like, okay. So he's gonna go make some mac and cheese in the Winnebago. While they're driving. While they're driving to their next destination. Like, it's all good. It's all good.
That is crazy awkward.
It is. And not to mention this family had the tradition of doing the 4th of July cake every year.
Yeah.
Right? And remembering that little plaque of the soldier and their family. Wow. So Superman has destroyed the tradition, thrown a dead body on their porch, violated laws, and it's just like, here, don't worry, it's an official note from Superman. It's JLA
Stamped
approved.
with an S.
Stamped with an S. While they're busy questioning you at the police station, they'll run this through the Justice League scanner and get it verified.
Wow.
I couldn't. I was just like, what an issue. This issue is. This issue gets nothing. This issue gets nothing.
Right down the middle.
I'm just like, I don't know what the hell. I don't know what I read this week.
It gets a moo.
It gets a moo. Like
right down the middle.
We haven't had one where it's I'm completely, I'm divided and beside myself. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
Holy crap.
Wow. All right. So
there's the other cover.
There's the other cover. So, and I think is that.
Yeah, it's like every war is covered there.
Wow. That's interesting.
I mean, I appreciate it. I do. But
it's a wonderful sentiment.
It's a wonderful sentiment, but it just didn't feel right.
Wow. All right, and that's you've got a couple more. Let me give you a break.
Yes,
for a second.
Because this is the right place for me to break. Is on that.
So
one.
Let's talk about Rich. Rich, I think, is watching. Rich, if you're watching and you haven't read this one yet, you might wanna pause or fast forward or move past this. But this is Darth Vader number 4.
Cover your ears.
So as I mentioned before, Darth Vader is on a mission to build his lightsaber, and he needs to steal a crystal from a Jedi.
Giuseppe Comicoli did the artwork. Oh my God, he's fabulous! I'm in. I'm gonna buy these issues.
You should check them out. I think we got most of them upstairs. But this, so last time we saw Darth Vader, he was fighting this Jedi, and
retired.
This retired Barish Vow Jedi, who throws him off a cliff,
which I love. I just love that was our ending.
So what do you do after you throw Darth Vader off a cliff? Mm-hmm. You go shopping. So he goes into town.
Because he doesn't know who he just fought, really.
No, well, he thinks he's dead.
Right.
He's like, oh, yeah, I just slain this Sith Lord. Now I'm going to go after his master, so I got to go into town and get a ship, right?
Right. Oh, my God, that's great.
So he goes into town.
Kill the master.
So he goes in town. No, he goes in town, and he walks into this garage, and he's like, hey, what's up? I'm back. It's been like several years. I paid you in advance to store my ship. I need my ship back. I got to go kill a Jedi master. I mean, a Sith Lord master. And the mechanic girl is like, wait, what? Well, I got your ship, but it needs a little work, right? And he's like, well, how long until you get it fixed? And she's like, well, I'll get right on it, So
I love this guy.
So he's like, so she's like, yeah, I heard that all the Jedi died, and like I was wondering if he'd ever return, and like, and then he tells her about like this Sith Lord coming to kill him and how he like kills him and throws him off a cliff, whatever. And she's like, well, is he gonna come here? And he's like, oh, don't worry, he's dead. Right, so cut to Darth Vader. This image right here, Darth Vader lying at the bottom of a chasm. Right now, I don't know if I mentioned it, but the training droid, the Jedi's training droid, also went down into this chasm. Yes. Right. So meanwhile, Vader's laying there. Right, his legs ripped off. His arms all busted up, right? He's like in bad shape.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this smashed up training droid is over there, and he's talking smack to him, like I told you my master would kill you, and like all this stuff. He's like, you failed, and blah blah blah. So while the training droid's like talking smack to him,
antagonizing him,
okay, Vader just doesn't say anything, uses the Force to bring the carcass of this robot over. Mm-hmm. Dismantles him, and then uses his pieces to heal himself to the point where he takes the leg. Yeah, he takes the leg and literally sticks it into like the bloody stump of his own leg, of his real leg. Takes this droid leg and shoves it in. Right. Then he takes the hand vibro sword of this training droid and then goes into town. So meanwhile, the Jedi is there, and he's like holding up the parts of the engine, right, helping this girl to fix his ship, And then all of a sudden, like, he realizes that Vader's still alive, and all the stuff drops, and he's like, no, it can't be. He's like, this is impossible. Like, it can't happen. So he walks outside, and up on the wall of this thing is Vader, and he's like, I think Vader actually says, come on. He's like, come on, come here, right? And the guy's like, no. So he's like, all right, and so he tells the family to go back inside, and he's like, I got to take care of this. So he goes up, and he starts fighting Vader, right? And they're doing their thing, and then all of a sudden, these like local law enforcement guys show up, and they're like, both of you, stop what you're doing, right? And then Vader pushes him off the wall.
Clearly, the Empire hasn't reached this planet yet.
No.
Yeah.
So Vader pushes him off the wall. Now this Jedi, he's like taken aback. Because he's like, he catches them and he holds them up and he's like, and he tells Vader, he's like, what are you doing? He's like, this is between the Sith and the Jedi. Leave these people out of it. He's like, this isn't about them. And Vader's like, oh, it is about them. And then he crushes a water tower and floods the entire city just to distract this Jedi, who then the Jedi is distracted and he's trying to fix it. Meanwhile, Vader picks him up with the Force by the throat, snaps his neck, and takes his lightsaber.
And then his ship, I imagine.
Well, we haven't gotten that far.
Okay.
All that's happened is that it appears as though Vader flooded an entire town, killed hundreds, if not thousands, of people just to distract this Jedi.
To kill him.
Just so he could snap his neck and take his lightsaber from him.
Oh, Anakin.
So, I'll tell you what. This whole, like, I've never, like... Because this Jedi is kind of a jerk.
But he's a noble jerk.
He's a noble jerk, but he's kind of cocky too. And then Vader takes full advantage of that. And so this whole story arc is amazing. Seeing the rise of Vader again, or like the actual rise of Vader. Like I feel like this is where we get to see the Vader character come into his own, become the Dark Lord Sith that we know from Episode 4 or the end of Rogue One. This is really where that begins. So huge
really
woo.
The end of Rogue One.
Yeah, or well, I mean Rogue One itself, because he's kind of he's a baddie in that.
I was gonna say, like, he's always a baddie, but like everything everyone ever envisioned on screen, we got it in Rogue One.
That hallway scene is the culmination of everything Darth Vader.
Right, because it is a nightmare. He is a walking nightmare in that scene, and that's the Vader that all Vader fans have been like craving. Yeah. So if we ever get a Darth Vader solo film, everyone hopes to see that guy.
I don't think we ever will, because this, I feel like the best Vader stories are being told in the comics.
Of course.
The original run of Darth Vader was between episodes 4 and 5.
Yep.
And it was Vader discovering that this pilot that destroyed the Death Star was in fact Luke Skywalker, his son.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that story is that overarching story is him coming to that realization.
And there were some great battles in that and some great stuff. The only thing that really bothered me is he was in such close proximity to Leia repeatedly, and not once sensed it was his daughter.
Well, I think that because she so the thing is I think that because Leia didn't know.
Yeah.
Like Luke knew, like Luke I feel like is actively searching for his father through the Force.
Right, and Luke
doesn't even realize.
Luke was told your father's a Jedi.
Right.
Leia wasn't told anything.
As far as Leia was concerned,
Senator Organa is her dad.
You know, Senator Organa is her dad. She probably wasn't told anything about her father, and that her mother was Queen of Naboo, possibly.
Yep.
Or maybe even not. Like we don't even really know.
No, we're pretty sure it's her because we actually see her in Episode 3. You know, receiving Leia.
Right. But the thing is in the comics, like Leia goes to Naboo, and she actually remembers things about, like she has Force visions of her mother, of Amidala.
Which is funny because as far as the movie universe has given us, the only Force power Leia's had in the films is the fact that the Force like emanates from her.
Like, and she
emotion.
can sense things.
She
senses
can feel things across the universe.
Yeah.
You know, as long as she's emotionally connected to you.
Right. And so I think that certainly was also like shown in the comics as well. Yeah. She also senses Darth Maul. and Naboo, which is a really weird thing.
Okay, so see, now that goes back to my point of it's really weird that her and Vader never get like a thing.
Well, but it's, I don't know. I mean,
look, that's a tough call. We all really know why it never triggered. I'm just saying, by the third freaking film, come on. Like, the third film, she should have been like, I've always felt something. I didn't know. Like, they could have just had a moment, but they never covered it at Return of the Jedi.
Well, no, I mean, Vader addresses it.
Vader says she's his daughter?
Yeah, well, he says, if you will not turn to the dark side, perhaps... he says, I feel he senses something in Luke, and he says your thoughts betray you. Mm-hmm. You want to protect someone, sister. And he says, if you will not turn to the dark side, perhaps she will. Yeah. And that's when they're fighting in the throne room. Okay. And that's when Luke gets all pissed and starts going after him. So it is, I mean, there is that connection made there. Yeah. And in fact, in a lot of the follow-up novels, between episodes 6 and 7, there's this whole thing. Like, basically, there's a political campaign where Leia campaigns to become the first senator of the New Republic. And basically, her opposition is like, we can't trust her. She's Vader's daughter. Like, it's a big deal. Like, it's a thing.
That's good.
And they're like, we can't trust her. She's Darth Vader's daughter. Like,
and that became public knowledge. Why?
Well, because once, so in the novel, apparently it's something like, it wasn't. It's not like it was public knowledge, but it wasn't something that was actively kept hidden. It was like Leia was just like, yeah, he's my father, but look at everything I've done. And the opposition, like the political opposition, was like, oh no, we can't, like, she's Darth Vader's daughter.
It's bad enough she's a woman.
Yeah, she only she only helped to lead the rebellion and was like one of the, whatever. So.
Oh God. Hey Joe.
Hey Joe. Series Jet is yes. So all of the comics post Disney purchasing Lucasfilm. All of the comics are, in fact, Star Wars canon. So everything happening in this book. And Joe, I don't know if you saw our episode where I covered the first issue of this series, but they retconned the scene at the end of episode 3 when Vader comes off the table. And it is a wonderful reconditioning of that scene, and it really helps to set up this series. And also, it informs the relationship between Vader and Palpatine a lot better, and sort of like the conflict between the two of them, and it really shines a new light on that. So I highly recommend. It's only 4 issues in 2 more issues we should be getting a collected trade. So I highly recommend you pick this one up. So yeah. All right. So you got a couple more.
Do I only have a couple more?
It's just 2 more, I think.
Holy cow! Well then, great. Flash number 27. When we last left off with the Flash, right? Do you remember it was the Flash Museum in the future?
Yes.
With Reverse Flash.
And Iris.
And Iris. Yep. And Iris holding that whatever, that Black Zero gun or whatever. Yep. And then crazy negative Speed Force Barry shows up. So Iris is there to watch all of this. And of course, Professor Zoom there, right, is all like, Barry, you're beautiful. Think of what we could do together. We could be the Flash. We could be best friends, blah, 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 blah. All I ever wanted was to be like you. And they're having this crazy, like, fight / but all I ever wanted was to be with you. And, like, it was just absurd. Mm-hmm. And he's like, don't you understand? I'll always be there. I'll always be there to torment you, to ruin your life. You don't know how much I've taken from you. And Iris just blasts him with that gun and takes him right out, and he's just like disintegrated. And of course I believe he's already rubbed in his face why the Flash is terrible and ruins everything, So when it's over, he's like, he takes off the mask, and powers down all that crazy negative Speed Force energy, and he's like, Iris, like, I'm so sorry. She's like, just take me home, Barry. And he's like, she's like, take me home. And then they speed off, and from the middle of the Flash Museum, and then the scene pans up, so you could see the title of what section of the Flash Museum they're in, and it's the Flash's Greatest Tragedies. Ooh. And he races her home, and she's like, Barry, I don't want to see you. I don't want to talk to you. Go. Ouch. So, what?
Is that where this issue ends?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. So, I mean, I'm giving it a woo.
Okay.
It was good, and the art is good. Hi-Fi does amazing colors. So yeah, so like I liked everything building up to this. I like where we're at. It was, again, I'm giving it a base woo. It's like one of the simpler stories, but I'm totally okay with that.
Do you feel like it's heading somewhere, or that?
No, that's why it's getting the woo, because it's like it's definitely building.
Yeah,
we're definitely going somewhere. But but man, Barry's taking some hits. You know, Kid Flash is really brokenhearted with him. Iris, the whole future may be in jeopardy because Iris is straight up like, Barry, I don't even want to talk to you right now. Wow. And that's just, it's pretty great.
So last, for what did we read, is
Super Sons. So, of course, Tomasi wrote this one, too. So, this one is
is this like mini Teen Titans? Because that's Beast Boy, right?
Right. Well, Damien Starfire is in the Teen Titans.
Okay.
Right. And anyhow, I like this issue. It was fun. It starts off with John Kent asking for permission to go out, and like his mom sassing him, whatever, and him being like, and Clark being like, be respectful of your mother. You know, make sure you take care of yourself. Stick with Damien, and also. And use the sunroof when you enter and exit the house.
Wow.
So he takes off to the big city to go hang out with Damien.
So is he in Gotham or?
No, they're in Metropolis.
They're in Metropolis.
And basically,
because I don't know about you, I wouldn't send my son out in Gotham.
No, but I mean, Damien feels comfortable over there.
Well, yeah, I also wouldn't send my son out with Damian Wayne.
No, right? Well, you know, the Super Sons. So, oh man, that's rough. So anyhow, they hang out. They do some menial rescue stuff, like a kitten out of a tree or whatever, and like appropriate, and like John. And then they're on a rooftop, and John is just like, "Oh, look at this cat," and he's just petting the cat. And I'm like, "The cat is green, dude. Like, pay attention."
Oh.
And the cat starts talking to him, and he's like, "What?" And of course, it's Beast Boy.
Yeah.
Then the others walk in like freaking. They're the most awesome thing ever. You know, the other Titans.
Teen Titans go?
Yes, and well, no, let's not go there. But like just the Teen Titans show. And you know, so it's Beast Boy and Raven and Starfire and Aqualad. And they're like, so this is your friend, and he's like, yeah, he's basically my secret weapon, whatever. And they have their little tete-a-tete, and then they kind of go exploring because they have some intel, and I can't remember his name. It's really weird. It's like Janelle or whatever. But it's that faceless dude with the pointy ears and the purple outfit. And did you ever watch Batman Brave and the Bold?
No.
Oh damn. Anyhow, he like steals people's powers and stuff. He also
I feel like I've seen him in possibly a version of him in Teen Titans Go, or
that would be weird, but
or something else. They do some weird stuff on that show.
They do some weird stuff, but come on.
Do you have it there?
Oh, you know I do.
All right, you had your big.
I brought the
big sack o' comics.
I really did because I just wanted to. Come on. I want to have reference.
He was pointing to the picture of Beast Boy as a cat.
Yeah. No, that was the cat from the tree.
Oh, that was the cat from the tree.
Yeah.
It was a different cat.
All right. So it's Adam Master, right? And Chun Yul. All right. So there's Chun Yul, the guy in the purple outfits.
Yeah.
So if any of you remember watching Batman Brave and the Bold, you remember seeing him there. So they have this encounter with him, and of course he starts manipulating their powers, whatever. And then it gets more crazy because they're working with Time Commander, who shows up and starts messing with time, and he wants to send them a message. And Superboy already had to go home because he has a curfew, so he's been home nice and safe. So he sends a message, right? And so he shows up at John's house, and he's outside with the other Titans. The Titans are okay, but they're locked out. They're knocked out. But Damien's been aged by the Time Commander.
Oh my gosh. Spoiler alert. Old man Robin.
Huh. I think that they're in he's in Damien's apartment or something. Or Bruce's apartment. Whatever arrangement they have. But yeah, the next issue is Old Man Robin.
Dead. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it's fun. Of course, repeated advertising for Batman Metal in here, which is great. But this is a fun issue. I'm still having a good time with it. And I love... So like, what did I say? Atom Smasher, Chun-Yul, and Time Commander. All Silver Age villains. So I just this to
Very
me,
cool. Very cool.
Tomasi is just telling this really fun, crazy Silver Age storytelling. Because remember, they fucked Kid Amazo already, you know. So there's all this like Silver Age throwback. So I'm having a really good time. I really like it.
All right.
And again, for more Marvel love, I have nothing more on the drive there.
I didn't see.
Yeah, that's the last one. All right, so one last piece of Marvel love.
Inhumans Prime.
I picked up Inhumans Prime.
All right.
So Inhumans Prime, like literally features all these Inhumans, and
Is that Devil Dinosaur?
that's Devil Dinosaur Moon Girl. I didn't know she had some sort of affiliation with them, or what?
Perhaps it's there we go. Inhumans Prime.
Yeah. So
Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
okay, so there's someone there too. I like that Kamala Khan's there. She's featured prominently.
Because she is an Inhuman.
Yes, she is. Yeah. Right. So like the Inhumans are like basically like Black Ball and Medusa are like trying to like bring everybody together, whether you're like Inhuman for the Moon or you're one of the new Inhumans, and try to make some sense of the whole thing. And this takes place, after that Terrigen Mist was weaponized and either you became an Inhuman or like it killed you if you're a mutant, and it was some horrible.
Inhumans versus X-Men.
Yeah. So this is after that. And so talk about issues that end with, come with me if you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the younger Inhumans who I'm not familiar with, Marvel Boy, who you may remember who ran around with the Young Avengers, who's from an alternate universe, where he's part Kree, so it's kind of like he's part super cockroach. So he goes to funny but true, and he's and he knows what he's doing.
Wow.
And of course Maximus is in here. I mean, the whole issue is taking counsel and trying to make an Inhuman settlement. Like the whole issue, there's no action happening here. It's just all we're trying to make a life here. We want to work together. All Inhumans should be brought together. So the epilogue is Crystal, not somebody I'm not familiar with. I mean, obviously she was Quicksilver's wife, right? And so she's just chilling, in her new whatever the hell is. I'm assuming she's moving. She looks like she's filing stuff, but whatever it is, she goes up to a balcony, and there's Marvel Boy, and he's like, "Come with me if you want to be awesome." And I just thought it was such a great. And I was gonna say
continued in Royals #1.
Yeah, and it was just such a. It was dense. Again, it was a more expensive book, but you have to start somewhere. So I would have liked a little more going on to the story, but it was a lot of talk and less action, And again, another $4.99 book. But I did enjoy it, and it looks like it's building to something.
You're gonna pick up Royals #1?
I don't know. This might be.
So where are we on the woo-boo scale?
I don't know. Kamala was in it. That always makes you feel better. This is going to be... I feel like I'm being too generous, but super soft woo.
Okay.
There's enough here where I don't want to, chuck it and scream.
Well, sometimes you got to do that with a first issue.
Yeah.
You got to give it the benefit of a doubt. To setting up a new story, a new arc, a new series. Sometimes you got to be a little generous and let it...
And listen, some people...
You did that with Iceman, and it paid off.
Absolutely. So, 3 issues in, and I'm like, all right, Iceman.
All right.
We're going somewhere.
All right. So I think that wraps up our What Did We Read segment.
Holy cow.
Yes, that was a lot.
We still got What Do We Play? Well, at least I feel unburdened.
So let's move on to What Did We Watch real quick. Just one little news story that I wanted to mention. So CW has announced, this was just today, CW has announced that the 2017 crossover will be all 4 shows over 2 nights. The first night is going to have a Supergirl Arrow, basically a 2-hour like mini movie. And then night 2 will be Flash Legion.
Flash
Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm the one hoping for Legion to show. The Legion to show.
And it's gonna be another 2-hour mini movie. Now they're moving. So the normal spread, I believe, they're moving Arrow from Wednesday to Monday for that 1 week. Mm-hmm. So other than that, everything's gonna be in its normal time slot. And not much. They're trying something different, and they said that depending on how this works, next year they may go back to a 4-night event like they had before.
Well, look, they just said last year's, their big quote in the middle, last year's crossover was our most successful week, I believe, in CW history. Mm-hmm. We felt that in this particular case, we already had Flash and Legends paired. It would be better and tighter in terms of storytelling to make it like a 2-night, 2-hour miniseries. We thought this was a tight, concise way of doing it. Next year, we may go back to 4 nights. Okay, the way that that's worded gives me hope that this is going to be one story.
I hope it is, because the way that they said it is, they kept saying pairing. And, yep. I'm hoping that meant just schedule-wise.
It said the special will conclude the very next night on Tuesday with the Flash. Yeah, so that may have 4 parts.
So what I love about this is I thought the 4-night thing was a little too stretched out. This really excites me. I like a 2-night, 2 hours each night miniseries event, overall 4 shows.
I got to tell you, although it was 4 nights, I mean, every night I was like on the edge of my seat. Yeah. I really was.
Well, but the thing I had about that is I felt like each show was still within its own story arc.
I don't know. The only one who really did that, the big letdown, was Supergirl, because we didn't know what's happening till the very end of the episode.
But even with Arrow,
and you didn't need it. No,
but even with Arrow, it was its 500th episode, and they wanted to pay homage to what had come before it. So they basically, I feel.
You mean 100th episode?
100th episode.
Yeah, not 500th episode. Listen, they did an amazing job with that episode, because
I love that episode.
Not only did we get everybody, okay, we had Supergirl and Flash working with Team Arrow on the outside.
Right.
I thought it was great.
I know, but my issue with that was I felt like that story, that 100th episode celebration story, was wedged in the crossover event. So then it didn't feel like it was a 4-episode crossover event. It felt like it was a 2-episode crossover event.
I'm not giving
with this third episode.
I'm not. I thought it was excellent. I loved the 3 nights of the 4. I felt let down.
I didn't feel let down.
I felt let down by Supergirl. I felt let down by Supergirl.
I didn't feel let down by Supergirl because I knew going into it that it wasn't going to kick off until the end of the episode.
She was the prologue.
She's not even a prologue. She's just like there's like these blips during the episode of the portal trying to open, and then at the very end, while she's doing her own thing.
While she's fighting Cyborg Superman.
Yeah. So, which don't get me started on that, because the makeup for Cyborg Superman and Supergirl is terrible.
And he hates it. Even he said he hates the character.
I think I don't mind the character. I don't mind the character being in the show. What I mind is the way that they're doing it and the makeup. It looks like he's wearing just this stick-on helmet thing.
I don't think,
and that's not even what that metal should look like. It's under his skin.
I don't think we're going to be seeing much. I don't feel like we're going to be seeing much more of him. And they gave him no backstory, none. Like the most minimal backstory.
It was basically like, Hank Henshaw died, but Cadmus brought him back and turned him into Cyborg Superman.
Yeah, and decided to name him Cyborg Superman for no reason.
That whole thing where he was like, I'm Cyborg Superman. Yeah. I was like,
yeah.
Whatever.
Again, with backstory, could have sold me. But since there was none,
It's like he's one of the best villains in the Supergirl comic books.
Yes.
They at least could have like it should have been made more like there should have been more of a conflict with the fact that he looks like John. Mm-hmm. Like that is because us as the audience, we don't know we don't know who the original real Hank Henshaw was. Our Hank Henshaw has become John Jones, and then this new Cyborg Superman. Hank Henshaw shows up, and it's like just out of nowhere, and there's no ramping up of it, there's no building up of it. He's just, this is our big bad villain,
and he's not even the big bad villain.
He looks bad. He's not that great,
yeah,
and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was more compelling that Kara and her sister couldn't trust their dad.
Yeah, I mean that's the better story, and then it turns out he's got. Yeah. Mechanical cyborg abilities. Yeah. So make him Cyborg Superman.
He could. Because,
that would even be better.
Because in Supergirl's comic, at the beginning of Rebirth, the Cyborg Superman was still her dad from Krypton. Oh, and then, of course, Superman's story fixed time, and suddenly we don't know what Supergirl's relationship with the Cyborg Superman is. What we do know is from the Action Comics arc I read that she was adamant that Superman shut that Phantom Zone down and locked the Cyborg in there.
That's interesting.
She's like Henshaw is way too dangerous. Close him in.
Yeah.
And he's like, you're right, and then just did it.
So one thing that's interesting, and that I wish that they would give concrete clarification here, is the notable absence of Black Lightning.
Yeah.
And I early on it was rumored that Black Lightning would not take place in the Arrowverse, which is fine. Again, we've speculated that we'd love to see him
actually be in Supergirl's universe.
The Supergirl universe. I don't understand why they don't want to tie him into the rest of the universe. Like that to me is just disappointing.
It is because it's great, and he's worked with these other characters. I just see so much good potential.
The other thing is even the tone of the show fits into Arrow easily. So why can't they've made Arrow work in this in these universes. Anyway,
I said, it would be something different if he was in Supergirl's universe. Yeah. Because Supergirl or Superman is suddenly gonna be like, let's go travel to this other city where this dude has been a hero for years, and we didn't figure that out.
And Supergirl references she's referenced Gotham. She's made references to a Batman, to a Joker. I mean, she's made these references to other places.
No, she hasn't said their names, but she's been
but she said something about dressing up.
I thought dressing up in a mask was it that dude in the other city?
It was a Gotham City thing or something. Yeah. But anyway, so this is going to be starts on Monday, November 27th, which is that the week of Thanksgiving? It must be the week of Thanksgiving.
Probably the week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and then it'll conclude the very next night. So Supergirl at its normal time slot, which I guess is 8 p.m. on Mondays, followed by a special hour of Arrow at 9 p.m. That's actually smart because Wednesday would be the night before Thanksgiving, and I think they usually do special stuff that night. And then the very next night, November 28th, with The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow, which are their normal time slots, 8 and 9 p.m. respectively. So that's really exciting. I'm looking forward to that. I hope it's successful again, and I hope they give us a nice, concise story. And I love this. I think I'm going to enjoy this format a little bit more than last year. So, all right. So let's move on to what did we play, and I'm going to bring up some. Let's talk about. So we hosted the New York the New York ROC state championships. Okay, this past weekend.
Only to have someone from not New York win again.
This is a little bit of a point of contention.
It's a point of contention. Ooh.
We've hosted this event the last 3 years. Every year that the state championships has been in existence from the ROC, we have hosted this event. So the last 3 years. This was the third year. Every year, somebody from outside the state wins the New York State Championship. This year, in the finals, we had Abdul from New Jersey. And we had Ricky from Rochester, New York. And Ricky's team was solid. Very similar team, if not the same team he played at Worlds. And we're gonna talk a little bit about the linchpin to his team right here is
I shouldn't be such a jerk. Abdul, you're cool. You're cool. Like,
Abdul's great. Do you have a problem with Ricky?
No.
Oh, well,
no, it's just the way I was like, and again, someone from out of state won. Like, I just said it with such an attitude. I'm like, wait.
Well, it's a little disappointing. So, all right, I cannot find. Is he Series 2? TMNT Series 2? I thought he was a super rare. Maybe I'm wrong.
Worm.
I'm looking for Worm.
Just search it again.
I did. I searched Worm, but it's spelled differently. It's like I thought it was
WYRM.
Oh yes, YRM. There he is. Shredder's Return. Here we go. All right, so let's take a look at this guy. This guy
is a plasticity monster.
So let's just take a look at this. So first off, he's 150 points, 7 range, indomitable, and look, not an empty space on his dial. Super senses all the way down, perplex, smoke cloud. Jeez, you don't see that power very often. Plasticity, great movement, right? Okay. Trait, 2 traits, share the wishes. These are hard economic times. Worm begins the game with 3 wish tokens on this card. Once per turn, an adjacent friendly character may be given a free action to remove a wish token. When you do, roll a d6 that can't be re-rolled. 2 through 3, modify one of that character's combat values by +1. So this is the adjacent character gives Worm, you give an adjacent character a free action, Worm gets to do this thing, and then that character gets these benefits. Okay? A 4 through 5, modify that character's combat values by +1. So 2 through 3 is modify one of the character's combat values +1. 4 through 5 is modify that character's combat values by 1. 6, that character can use the standard power of your choice. Any result lasts until your next turn. When Worm has no wish tokens at the beginning of your turn, deal 1 unavoidable damage to each adjacent character. Okay? Then he has Worm feels like causing a bit of chaos. Worm can use phasing teleport, probability control, shape change, and his powers can't be countered. All right? What works really well with Worm? Benefiting adjacent friendly characters. What mechanic in the game allows you to, I don't know, bring in a character adjacent to you wherever you are?
Oh my god, the freaking ID cards.
ID cards, Justice League Teleporter. You call in a character, you pop him next to you, you give him a free action to roll this d6, you get a +1 combat value, you get +1 of all of the combat values, or you get to choose a standard power of your choice. He's got Perplex. And if you want to hit him, he's got phasing teleport, plasticity.
If he wants to tie you up,
yeah, and his powers can't be countered. And if you want to hit this guy, first he's going to roll shape change, then he's going to roll super senses,
and he can re-roll your attack,
and he's got probability control.
Yeah,
Ricky made this guy a name. Like, he took this figure, and Ricky ran the Justice League Teleporter.
I gotta say, I like that this is a fun piece, and that it was successful.
It was very successful, and I'm going to tell you what. So, I don't know if Ricky had a Colossal Retaliator. I guess he did. You know what? Let me see if I can find his build sheet real quick. I meant to do this actually before the show, and I just simply forgot. Oh, perfect! I can put this right in my mouth. So let me just bring up his build sheet real quick. So he was calling in things like Cosmic Spider-Man,
of course,
Nick Fury. He had the teleporter filled up, and he had all right, so let's see. He had Worm. Oh, possessed by Brainiac.
Yes!
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 I knew
Justice
you'd love
is
that.
mine!
I knew you would love that. He had Jean Grey for TK. He had Haha Joker, and he had the Pym Tank.
I was still rocking the Pim Tank, even after it got heavily errated.
Yep, still rocking the Pim Tank. It was 298 points, all right? He had a full teleporter, Superman ID card with, it looks like BVS Superman number 16.
Yep.
Green Arrow ID card with, it looks like the OP Green Arrow. The one, is that the one that brings in the tokens? Yeah, as soon as he comes in. Level 7 ID card for Nick Fury, Spider-Man ID card for Cosmic Spider-Man, Nightwing ID card for the OP Nightwing.
Yep, great.
Firestorm ID card with the Firestorm OP kit.
Ooh.
And then the Pim Particle Tank, 2 Ultra Heavies and a Light. All right. Played on Wakanda, Stanford, and Turtle's Lair. Okay.
Wow.
So
Wow.
So really solid. I mean, he was doing some crazy things. It was great. You know, what he was doing was fantastic. So what I love about this team is this team did not have what everyone else was playing. Everyone else had Colossal Retaliation and the Boxing Ring. Okay? Now, I don't think the Boxing Ring is actually on here yet.
I should hope that they've changed it. Yeah,
Boxing Ring.
Ring.
Okay, here we go. So get a load of this. All right. So first off, it's special terrain. Mm-hmm. This is a completely brand new mechanic as far as I'm aware.
Yep.
Okay. This is a convention exclusive purchasable item, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are lucky enough to go to a convention, you can go to the WizKids or NECA booth and you can purchase this item. I think it might be $60 or $70, and it comes with the boxing ring.
I thought it was only 50
map.
and 2 figures and a map.
It might be 50.
50 would be nice.
I might be thinking of it was something else that was 60 or 70. Maybe I'm thinking of the Pim Tank. So it comes with the boxing ring, which is a plastic piece that sits on the map. It comes with a map of like a boxing ring that you can put this on, and you get special bonuses for that. I'll tell you about in a minute. And it comes with, from the special comic, Superman and Muhammad Ali Heroclix figures. Very cool. All right.
So let's each have a 75-point dial, I believe, that you can rock the mats.
That's true. So this special terrain costs 5 points, by the way. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Placement rule. Special terrain must be placed at least 3 squares from any starting area. Special terrain can't be placed over squares of different elevations or other special terrain. So if you have 2 boxing rings, you can't place them over each other, okay? And the best way to get around this, if you're going up against this, is you pick a map that has multiple elevations and they can't fit it on, okay? Starting force can only include 1 special terrain. The player not choosing the map gets to place special terrain first before placing objects. Okay? So, you roll your dice, okay? You win the initiative, and you decide to go first. You pick the map. If they have special terrain, they place theirs first. Okay? Is what that means.
Okay.
It's kind of weirdly worded.
No, it was a little weirdly worded. It sounded like I have to let you choose the map, which is dangerous. Then I get to put mine on. Then I get to put my special terrain down first.
Right. Well, basically, what it means is that player 2 gets to place their special terrain first.
Okay. So if you have one crazy map where there's limited terrain, it's like
right. Because then the first player might not be able to place theirs. However, because this is so new, not everybody had special terrain,
much less anticipating this.
Right. And if they did, they built their team around it, so it's already on the map anyway. All right, so map bonus. When placed on the Sporting Arena map, which is the map that comes in the retail box, choose a friendly character and modify its defense value by +1 against range attacks this game. Mm-hmm. If this terrain can't be placed, you get the map bonus.
So even if you got some crazy multi-layer terrain so they can't play this, that team still gets the map bonus.
So you bring the boxing ring and the Sporting Arena map.
Yeah.
Okay? You roll for initiative and you win the bonus. Mm-hmm. You win the map roll. Okay? Yeah. So you choose the Sporting Arena map. Mm-hmm. You defer to them if they have any special terrain. Mm-hmm. If they don't, then you place your boxing ring down, and a friendly character gets a +1 defense.
Right.
Okay?
And then, if this terrain can't be placed...
So, right. But that's if it can. if you place it on the arena
right,
map.
but I'm more fascinated by if they can't.
So let's say you lose the map roll.
Yep.
Your opponent says, okay, well, you're not going to get to play that.
Yeah.
Okay. So they pick a map with multiple elevations.
Yep.
You can't
Giant
place the terrain.
or something.
Or something else happens is you win the map roll and you choose the map and they have a boxing ring and place it down and there's not enough room for your boxing ring, you get the bonus.
Yeah.
Okay? So, scoring, special terrain is scored when a player is defeated, whether it was placed or not. Very cool. I like that wording. Scoring in situations with ID cards, if they're not called in, they don't score the points, even if they wipe the team, which is, I don't understand that. All right. All squares of the boxing ring are clear terrain. Very cool. When a character crosses the ropes in either direction, unless it can ignore hindering terrain for movement purposes, its movement ends immediately. If the character is not completely in or out of the ring, its movement may continue until it is completely in or out of the ring. Okay? So this is interesting because it's essentially clear water terrain. Sort of. Except characters that are occupying squares out of the ring modify their attack values by -2 when attacking characters in the ring. Characters that occupy squares in the ring modify their attack value by -2 when attacking characters out of the ring. So, that's pretty big. Because
it's like luring people to the ring.
Well, not only is it luring, but it's a great defensive position because you place this on the sporting arena map, you get a friendly character with a +1 defense bonus, and while you're sitting in the ring, your opponents making range combat attacks against that character in the ring are getting a -2 to attack. That's essentially a net 3.
I'm picturing Dark Knight Superman having a field day with this.
Dark Knight Superman
from Elseworlds.
From Elseworlds.
Yeah, that big super man with I get to roll a d6 and have all these amazing abilities.
So here's the last part of this is characters in the ring modify their attack values by +1 when making close attacks. So it really encourages some fisticuffs inside. I would say at least half the teams we saw on Saturday were running this. They weren't all running the sports arena map, but they were all running this. I saw one team that had this and two Sinestro Colossals for Colossal Retaliation, which I believe made the top 4. So Ricky, playing the team, did not play this, which was very cool. Now, Abdul played Jakeem Thunder, two Green Lanterns from Elseworld, I believe.
Really?
The 052? Let me confirm this.
Let's find him.
I believe
that's new and different to me. Elseworld.
I believe it's, let's see, 052. Oh, there is no 52. What?
Maybe he's from Joker's Wild.
Oh, Joker's Wild. Joker's Wild.
I'm sorry. It's Alan Scott.
It's Alan Scott. Yes, which is interesting because, boom. Here we go. All right. A simpler time, once per turn for all your characters with this trait. If a character uses the JSA team ability to replace its defense value with the Green Lanterns, also modify that character's defense value with +1 from ranged attacks. So, he's playing the boxing ring, and these guys
hanging out in the boxing ring.
How insane is that? They're getting ESD. This guy's getting ESD, and when he Justice Societies to somebody else with the Justice Society, he's getting
another +1.
Now, Jakeem, by the way, is he a wild card?
No.
He's not a wild card.
No.
Oh, but he has Justice Society.
Yes.
The Prime does, which I'm pretty sure is the one he was running.
They're both JSA.
Oh, they are?
Of course.
Great. I knew that. Sure. I'm pretty sure he was running the Prime, which is the pick. The one.
Which is him.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Remember, they both get to pick powers.
Right. So let's.
He's just awesome at it.
Right. So look at this. So 18 energy shield. If he JSAs, well, that doesn't make any sense because it would JSA down to 17. I guess it doesn't matter.
Right, but now they JSA. Oh my god, it's just ridiculous. Because
if he JSAs from him, does he? Let me check that because does he get the bonus? Yeah,
he can get the bonus.
But what I'm saying is if Jakeem JSAs to Alan, does Alan get the bonus, or does either of them get a bonus?
No. So Jakeem to Alan, there's no bonus. Alan to Jakeem, there is a bonus.
Right. Okay, that's what I thought. So all right. But either way, Jakeem inside the ring is sitting on
20 defense at range.
Is sitting a 20 defense from range, and if he's inside the ring, ranged attackers are doing a -2.
You know what's so deadly? Because we have the rule of 3, right?
Yeah.
So this is like...
if he gets the map bonus, he's getting a +1 to that probably too.
Yeah.
He's picking him for that.
But again, because of the rule of 3, right? I'm getting +3 to my defense.
Right.
And you're getting -2 to your attack.
Right.
Because of the rule of 3, this works out to a rule of 5.
Yeah.
It's amazing and horrifying.
He also ran. So Abdul also ran the Dormammu Colossal Retaliation. Scarlet Spider-Man.
That piece is ready to make me quit the game.
It's very good. Scarlet.
It's too good.
Two Serpent Spider-Mans, 15 points each, right? And then the boxing ring, the Kree Supreme Intelligence, Shield level 7 ID card with Nick Fury and Hawkeye. Okay? So here's some interesting things. So these were the two teams in the finals, okay? Now, they had played once before, and they played in Swiss, and Ricky won. And it was Ricky's only loss going through Swiss. Okay?
You mean Abdul's only loss going through Swiss?
No. Ricky lost
going
to
through Swiss.
Abdul.
As we reached the top 4?
Right, as we reached top 8.
Top 8, okay.
Because we cut to top 8. Now, going into top 8.
Ricky's back on track in top 8.
Well, and then come to find out, talking to Abdul, he said that Ricky was just messing around with him, and he lost to him on purpose to see his tactics, like to see what his strategy was, and he said,
"No,
and
Ricky,
Abdul
you're
said,
supposed to defend New York."
Abdul said, "No, that was in Swiss. This is before the finals."
Oh, okay.
This is before the finals.
Oh, okay.
So, and Abdul said, I showed him some of my tactics, but I didn't show him all of them. Okay, so fine, whatever. So we get to top 8, and they're not even paired. They're not paired. They go down. Okay. They get down to the finals. Okay. So, two things happen in this game. Okay. The first thing that happens is Green. So first off, Abdul. So Green Lantern also has another trait that's Green Lantern's Light. Once per turn, Green Lantern can use Barrier. He can use it as a free action, but only to place one barrier marker. When he uses Barrier, he may substitute one barrier marker that he would place with the Light Wall marker and place it in that character's square within range, positioning one side along an edge. This marker acts as a wall. If you place the Light Wall marker, it is removed at the beginning of your next turn. Unique modifier opposing characters adjacent to the any Light Wall barrier can't use stealth and modify the defense by -1. I don't know if he just didn't want to use them, but he didn't use them the entire game. He only used the regular barrier, the one barrier from each of them.
Which again is a lot more.
Which is pretty good.
A lot more blocking.
Which is pretty good. Which is fine. All right, fine, whatever. Secondly, there was a point in this game in which Worm calls in Cosmic Spider-Man. Free action, Worm's trait.
Yep.
Rolls a d6, gets the +1 to any combat value. I think he increases his attack.
Yep. Wise.
Yeah.
Right.
Worm's got probability. I think Cosmic Spider-Man might even have probability. And Joker Joker may have had probably.
No.
I'm pretty sure he had 2 probabilities at least.
I don't know where the other probability.
Joker. Okay, maybe he didn't have. Maybe he just had the one.
Yeah, traded.
He just had the one. So he moves in to attack the Green Lanterns inside the ring.
Mm-hmm. With hypersonic. Yes.
Possibly actually went into the ring to shoot. I forget.
Again, very likely. Hypersonic's great.
Misses the first attack.
Okay.
I think he rolls a 3.
Yep.
Probs.
Yep.
Rolls again.
Yep.
And then misses the second attack, which was huge. Missing the one attack with Cosmic Spider-Man was huge.
I love how you make this so dramatic, even though we already had the rundown of how powerful the ring is and all that defense is. Like, it's his odds got
right, but
his
the
odds
thing
were
is,
real
Ricky could easily. So here's the other thing that Ricky was doing is Ricky was somehow TKing. How is he doing that?
Maybe one of the cards gave him TK?
Well, he had Jean Grey TK.
Okay.
But he was doing something where he would TK Worm back,
mm-hmm.
and then after the Cullen character made an attack, the Cullen character would disappear.
Yes.
And then that way your opponent couldn't score the extra points.
Yes.
So he was playing that game too, which was very smart. So anyway, so he in this scenario he was off on one side of the map, so he didn't leave. Cosmic Spider-Man was still there. So that was pretty big because, but I mean, when I say like he made an attack, he still was. I forgot to mention that Joker came around and outwitted ESD.
Okay, that's helpful.
So that's what he was using Joker for. Is he was using Joker to come around.
All right, so he outwitted this one Green Lantern's ESD. You get your powered up Cosmic Spidey to go in there.
It was going to be a one-shot kill, and
yeah,
he missed it. Okay, so all right. It was big though. It was big because
that's big because that's pretty devastating. And I imagine he's still JSA'd. The Alan Scott still JSA'd to get a bonus from the other Alan.
But it was like it ended up being like I'm pretty sure it was like a 12 on a 19 or something like that. Like it wasn't insane. Like it was easily doable. It may have even been like he may have only needed a 6 to hit. It was like a 6 or 7.
All right, okay. Now
it was big. It was a big moment.
Now you made a bigger picture for the bigger disappointment.
So
no, Ricky, but oh well.
So flash forward. So Abdul takes out Cosmic Spider-Man, scores the extra 60 points or whatever. Okay. Then
took out Cosmic Spider-Man.
Okay, another big moment.
Okay, so then he did not bring Spider-Man in at the top of his dial. Cosmic Spider-Man. So he was using the teleporter.
He's using the teleporter.
So he must have brought in 175 point Spider-Man, not full dial Spider-Man.
Well, how much is
the big Spidey's a lot. Like click on right, 75 for the little Spidey.
He had to have brought in 75 because Worm is only 150.
Right, but with the thing, the teleporter, you can get to those clicks where you can bring in bigger characters.
But he wasn't there yet.
That makes it.
This is what he had. This is what he had.
So it was still a 12 attack. It's still a 12 attack. And he didn't do
it was at least a 12 attack.
He sidestepped into the ring.
It was actually it actually was I think it was a 13 attack.
One for perplex.
One perplex, one bonus from Worm's trait. So
this is why we need to video the main events.
Don't worry, we will soon. We're actually streaming a Pokemon event, the Burning Shadows League Cup this Saturday, right here on Twitch, starting at 10 a.m. League Cups are huge this season. It's the start of the new season. If you win 2 League Cups each season, you get an invite to Worlds. So League Cups are going to be huge. We're going to be streaming all day on Saturday, so be on the lookout for that here at Kerwin's Game Store Twitch channel. Getting back to this. So he takes out 75-point Spider-Man, right? Knocks him out, he gets him. Jakeem comes in with like an ultra heavy and like just like bashes him. So all right, cool. So then, at some point, Abdul was basically going out doing stuff, coming back into the ring, clearing, going out doing stuff, coming back into the ring. But I mean, Ricky was just calling in these big characters and then just like trying to hit him. Then it gets down to I forget whether or not he actually did damage to Jakeem, but what ended up happening was it was Worm and Jakeem, and they were there, and Haha Joker was off somewhere else, and Ricky had lost the rest of his team, the Pim Tank and Jean Grey, and it was Worm at full dial, and Jakeem at I remember what it was. So Worm did damage. Jakeem did damage to Worm, I believe is what happened, and then so Jakeem did damage to Worm, and he needed to do like 4 damage to him or something. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Ooh, with 16 defense, ouch.
He needed to do something like 4 damage or something. What's Jakeem's 5. I forget exactly what the scenario was, but basically what it was is I think that Ricky had got a hit on Jakeem, so Jakeem was down dial, and the scenario was that Jakeem was going to single target Pulse Wave Worm, and he was gonna single target Pulse Wave Knockback. So Jakeem chose Pulse Wave and Knockback. He was gonna single target Pulse Wave, knock him back into a wall for an extra damage, and he was gonna do 5. He might have been at full dial, Worm. So he needed to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clicks. 5, 6. No. So Worm had damage on him because basically the scenario was. Single target Pulse Wave Knockback into a wall was 1 damage short of KOing Worm. And basically, Jakeem was down dial enough where all Ricky had to do was survive the attack. Worm would call in whoever,
or
and
use
finish off
Brainiac's
Jakeem.
Regeneration.
Finish off Jakeem the next turn. Okay. So Jakeem was gone the next turn, and then all he had to do was pick off the Green Lanterns.
Yep.
And he'd be done. Also, one thing to note is that Ricky took out Dormammu early in the game and Dormammu never got to Colossal Retaliate. And I think what it was is that he basically I forget what it was. He
TK'd Worm out, I'm sure.
He TK'd Worm out. Worm called in on the next turn. He called in, or Worm. I forget how it happened, but basically he was out there. He called in somebody.
Like Nick Fury.
They hit Dormammu, took him out of the game, and then Worm was TK'd back, and then the calling character came off the map. Okay, because he was no longer within 5 squares. So
I mean, my choice would have easily been Nick Fury for the range and everything.
It probably was. So that was early. So Abdul kept saying, "This is for Dormammu, Dormammu." So the scenario is he's going to single target Pulse Wave Knockback and be 1 damage short of KOing Worm. And then Worm next turn is just going to call in a character, take out Jakeem, and then he's going to pick off the rest of his characters.
Yep. But it really happened. That's what happened.
Well, no. What happened was
Jakeem rolled double 6s.
Jakeem rolled a crit hit and
slaughterhouse
and just took out Worm in 1 shot. And that was it. Because Abdul, because of the 70 points of Spider-Man,
yep,
he ended up getting 298. And he didn't even take out Joker. Joker was still left on the map.
Yep. What about Jean?
So everything was gone except for Joker and Worm. And
Worm got freaking critical hit executed.
Yeah. And he rolled it. He had one shot. He had no probs. He had no probs because I think he was down dial or something. But he basically had one shot. He just needed to roll it, and then he rolled it, and it was insane. It was amazing. Like it's one of those moments where you're just like, like if he didn't do it, he would have lost the game more than likely. And the thing is even with that crit hit, he still needed to survive. But we were probably 5 minutes from the end of a round anyway. So, and Abdul won. An interesting note is first round of Swiss. Not that it really would have mattered, but first round of Swiss. So Abdul went undefeated the entire day.
Wow.
Didn't lose once. And Abdul in round one, he was tied. Him and his opponent were tied 65 points to 65 points. And I had called the end of time, which in the ROC rules you go to the end of player two's turn, you finish the round. So they were going to end tied 65-65, which per ROC rules is a double loss in Swiss. Then Abdul's opponent realized that, I could call in a character, take a shot in the ring. I need a 6 to hit. I'm probably going to do enough damage to take out, a character and get it, right? He's like, all right. So he calls in Green Arrow, brings in one-armed Oliver Queen.
Ooh, all these Kingdom...
Okay.
Dark Knight Returns characters.
The call-in ID card gives Abdul 5 points. So now it's 70-65.
Ooh.
Then he's counting squares, and Abdul's looking at it, and I'm looking at it because I'm actively judging. And he counts out the squares.
And it's not enough range.
Well, we both think he's counting out range.
Yeah.
He counted out TK, and he TK'd him into the ring more than 5 squares away.
No.
And then Abdul's like, he's like, is that what you're doing? Are you done? And he goes, yep. And then he goes, all right, a 12 on. And he goes, no, the game's over. And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, you're more than 5 squares away from your call in, and he goes off the map. And so then the guy had no other characters that could take actions or make an attack.
Just a broken heart.
And he just handed Abdul the game by misplaying. And the guy even said, he's like, I can't believe I did that. He's like, I'm not unfamiliar with that rule. Like, I know that. He just possibly his first ROC, but it was heartbreaking. And Abdul was he was like, I'm so sorry. He's like, I'm so sorry, but he goes, he's like, we thought you were counting range. And even then, I wouldn't say anything. Not an ROC, like in a casual Sunday game or something. If they TK him, I'm like, by the way, that he comes off the map. It's like you might want to do that from back here. The thing was, he was trying to get in so he wouldn't have the -2 to his attack, and he
would have been better off just.
He should have just made the attack, and the thing is he probably would have hit it too. He was just trying to overcompensate, and he handed him the 5 points when he used the ID card. So. All in all, it was a very fun day. Most people had a really good time. Some players I know got frustrated with the boxing rings, and
I'm just picturing dice flying, red phases.
Yeah,
eBay accounts on fire.
I will say that the special terrain thing, I'm a little I want to see where they're going with this. I feel like they need the thing I don't like about it at this point is it's a brand new item. It's very hard to get. It's exclusive. You have to physically go to these conventions and purchase them, or you have to pay big bucks on eBay to get them, or you need a friend that's going to go there and get you one. So
same thing way I feel about Dormammu.
Dormammu I feel like is a little more accessible.
A little.
I think his colossal retaliation power is a little too powerful for the 35 points you pay for him.
Regardless of which way you read it, interpret it, judge it, it's too powerful. Because the big fight over last weekend
was the 2 squares.
Was it the 2 squares from who you hit or the 2 squares from him? And guess what? Having faced that interdimensional threat,
yeah,
I can tell you, it didn't matter.
There's
which
no bargaining.
way we went.
There's no bargaining with that Dormammu.
No, we need. We specifically need a Doctor Strange who has a trait that says, "I'm here to bargain."
I bet you. I guarantee you. When Infinity War comes out next year, there'll be an Infinity War movie set, and there'll be a Doctor Strange with that power.
I doubt it, but it'd be cute.
I bet there will be. So on that note, thank you for sticking with us for so long. We appreciate your time.
Another 2.5 hours.
Hopefully we.
But I actually talked about comics.
We talked about comics and Heroclix. We're very excited. We want to thank Kerwin's Game Store for hosting us. And again, check out the Pokemon stream this Saturday for our Burning Shadows League Cup. Check out our videos on YouTube. And check out our website at kerwinsgamestore.com. You'll find everything you need for Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh! We just put Code of the Duelist singles online for you Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, so go check that out. We've got Dice Masters, we've got Star Wars Destiny, and the new Dragon Ball Super card game from Bandai is up there. Really fun game. I played that the other night. I'm not a huge Dragon Ball fan, but I like the card games for Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball. This one's particularly Dragon Ball Super. So check out those as well. And we'll catch you guys next week for another episode of Read, Watch, Play. Ooh, man, it's been a long one. And we'll keep you updated on all of our convention-going extravaganza expedition adventures.
And charity expedition adventures.
Oh,
one last thank you. Thank you to Alternaverse Comics so that I had my review material on time.
And I think I play Pokemon, by the way, and I think on the 20th they have a Pokemon Expanded League Challenge. So if you guys are in the area down there, go and check that out. I may try to get down there and play.
I guess they do. I think Josh is running it. Running it.
So definitely check them out. And if you're not in this area, go to your local comic book store. Check out some of the comic books we talked about. Go to your local game store. Check out some of the games we talked about and the figures.
Buy something from them to keep them alive.
Keep them supported. Go play board games. Find out when your local board game night is, or go start one. Even better. And if you don't have a local game store, go to a community center or a library or someplace where people gather and they just want to have a good time.
Maybe a bar that wants to do game nights.
Bars or restaurants that want to do game nights, so go check those out too. So again, thank you for joining us. We'll catch you guys next week. As always, I am Tony Cox.
And I am Clifford Parmenter.
And you've been watching Read, Watch, Play. Thank you and have a good night. KerwinsGameStore.com is the online source for your gaming needs. We stock sealed products and card singles for Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and Weiss Schwartz. We also carry singles for Heroclix and Star Wars Destiny. With our free economy shipping on all orders and responsive customer service, you get more of the games you want hassle-free. Shop KerwinsGameStore.com today and see why we are the best place in gaming.